Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. Just waiting for the room to fill up a bit. And we're going to get to the questions that I've missed over the past couple of shows in the chat. And also just going to answer some live questions and open up the panel. So thanks for joining me. Welcome to the green screen.
It's 7 o'clock. My first girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
Peace to everybody out there currently watching.
Yeah.
Let me give shout outs. Today's a special episode because I want to know if you guys are understanding thus far what we're really getting into, where we're at in this whole process. And it is a journey. It is a journey. So come in. Thanks for being here. We're going to get started in one hot minute, just setting everything up, all the slides, get everything ready for you guys. This is a question and answering session. So get your questions ready because I'm going to address them all. All right. Welcome everybody to the Green Streams. Once again, a special episode here, answering everybody's questions, and I think it's great because as I'm speaking, we'll be able to discuss, in real time, what's going on. If you have a family member going through something, now is the perfect time to talk to me about that and voice their questions or their situation. So let me just start with getting back to some of the questions that we had in the earlier messages. Here, J Indie Intellect says, vegan diets are as worse as eating meat. We need plant-based diets. Now, I understand what you mean, J Indie Intellect. What you're basically saying is a vegan diet can mean buns and fake meats and saturated fats with the oils and the the waste and filth of over processing, over frying foods, getting those little charred pieces in the oil. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people it's not that they are getting less healthy on a vegan diet when they choose to go plant vegan and go to the fast food restaurants, right? So say you're eating meat and you're eating mashed potatoes and whatever, right? Pizza. And then you say, no, I'm gonna go vegan. But you don't look to incorporate greens or whatever. Regardless, you're still gonna feel a little bit drained. Remember, the adrenal glands have slowed down; they're not working as efficiently, and also the filth, the filth that has been stored is now kind of coming out. So you're feeling the sicknesses. So what I would recommend is when you go. I wouldn't say vegan. I wouldn't go as far to say vegan diets are as worse as eating the animals, because you see, when you're eating the animals, you're paying your money for an industry that we, don't agree with, slavery, torture, confinement, rape, kidnapping, all of that kind of stuff. That goes on. So we're propagating that with our dollar when we buy the meat. And also the meat has growth hormones, antibiotics. That's my daughter down there. Antibiotics, and not to mention all of the GMO foods that animal has been eating is now stored in the meat. So it is being given to you now. So no, I wouldn't say that a vegan diet is just as bad as a meat diet, because you're still getting rid of that karma. You're still getting rid of the blood and pus. You're still getting rid of the antibiotics and the growth hormones and the medicines and all of the really, really acidic foods. So what we have to realize is that whether you eat meat or not, you have to incorporate whole foods. The whole foods are what is going to give your body what it needs to defend itself, to help repair itself, or at least to create an environment where it can start to do what it needs to do. But remember, folks, it won't happen if you have the meat and the dairy in the way, and the processed foods, and the over fried foods, and so on and so forth. So yes, plant-based as much as possible. How can you be vegan and not plant-based? There are things that literally come from plants. You know what I mean? We can have wheatgrass and nuts and kales. But there's also things that, you know, that they come from plants, but they're so removed from their natural state. For example, sugar. Okay, sugar is vegan, white sugar, simple white sugar, but it wreaks havoc on the body. Okay, overprocessed cane sugar, overprocessed brown sugar, all of these types of things, iodized. See, now salt is not from a plant. So when you're saying plant-based and you speak of salt, well, salt doesn't start off in the plant. So there's a difference. And what I would say to the beginners or the transitioners is not to really worry about that. A lot of people try to start off doing too many things, cutting too many things out. And the stress of that severe change may be too much for people, and they may jump back into their old habits because they can't handle it. Okay, so when it comes to the minute differences of did it come from plants or not, you know, keep that for the more advanced people like yourselves out there in the chat. What's good? So I'm vegan, but I eat plant-based, right? I mean, I am trying more and more and more to clean up my diet. It's never the end of the road for me. It's always keeping on going. But my lifestyle is vegan. You see, I'm a plant-based eater, but my lifestyle is vegan, meaning I won't purchase a vehicle with leather in it. I won't buy a leather wallet. I have a thread wallet. I won't buy shoes with real suede on it. It'll be fake suede, right? Fake leather, things like that. What else? I won't wear silk. I won't wear down jackets. I have a True North jacket that's filled with goose feathers, and that was a gift. That was back in like 2010 or 2011, and I've just kept it throughout the transition, and I've never gotten rid of it. I'm gonna use it until all the feathers, you know, pop out of it, and maybe I'll stuff it with something synthetic. So the lifestyle is vegan. So let's go to the chat right now and take some questions from the chat. Let's pop out this chat. And I'm going to open up the panel just as soon as we get some of these questions out of the way. Okay. Blood is addictive. Yes, it is, because it is fractionated and it is very, very potent. Masterpiece. I have diverticulitis. I cannot digest much. What can I eat to heal my body? You may want to stop eating altogether for a couple days and then eat something light like apple. This is to Tengami E magnet. You may want to go on distilled water for a couple days and then eat something light. Like if you can eat, digest fruits, if you can digest berries, then I would definitely recommend that. Something very, very soft and very simple. For example, an avocado soft, but it is very loaded and it's very dense, and it might be hard to digest for you, sister. So let me see about, there's this one question here I wanted to. Okay, there's are you the lady that said also that you cannot digest many fruits? Because I feel like it's the same kind of thing here. So yes, you may want to whatever fruits that you can eat right now, go back to those when you're done the fast. So if you're listening to me, Tengami E magnet, if you cannot digest much and you want to strengthen the digestive system, Stop eating and let it rest. Okay? After it's rested, introduce the fruits that you like back into your diet that works with you. And then fast again. And then introduce it again. And then fast again. And each time you fast, go for a little bit longer and longer. And it's gonna be tough. But if if the ailment is tougher, then you may want to definitely do this fasting regimen. So whatever fruits and vegetables you're good at, stock up on the water, fast, and drink plenty of water, distilled water. Go back on the fruits that you like, fast for longer, fruits, fast for longer, okay? Question from DZ Flat Mountain Power. Question, is meat addictive? Yes, it is. Not only is the blood in it, but just the whole concoction. Because remember, there's a bunch of fractionated flu shots and antibiotics and pus and white blood cells and traces amounts of of cysts, that who knows, that might have been cut off right before you got it. Okay, a lot of these animals that we eat are very, very, very sick, and they're just suppressing the sickness within them. They're not, these farmers don't let them go and graze for a year and so that they get their microbiome back in order. No, these, from the time they're born, it's slavery, and it's go, 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 get big as fast as you can, and then die. So whatever things we're developing, whatever tumors or cysts, you're also gonna get. Okay, trace amounts of. Let's see. Okay, now I'm gonna go back from the chat and go back into my saved questions. Elizabeth 98 says, cancer is a sign of health is one of my favorites. And what she's talking about is, if you go to my page here, Masterpiece, and you go into the playlists, this is very important because I see that a lot of the newest videos are played most, but I swear the most gems are dropped back in the day. So if you go to my playlist, we have Flat Earth Physics, Fatherhood. Fatherhood Tips is a great one for babies and diets and stuff like that. For fathers, the mothers are just so intuitive. My Groceries is a good one. Vegan, plant-based, smashing the conceptions of veganism is a really good one. And Masterpiece Philosophies is also a really great one. Okay, now you come into Masterpiece Philosophies and you see a video called Cancer is a Sign of Health. Where is it? Cancer is a sign of health. I recorded it back when I was in Malawi, Africa. What's going on, baby? What do you need? I got some quinoa on the stove for you.
What's going on?
Okay. Okay, let me just find out where this is. I swear. Let me just type it in. Masterpiece. It's a video of me, baby. Okay. Cancer. Okay, it was in that playlist. Okay. Cancer is a sign of health. Right here. That's under the Masterpiece Philosophies playlist. Now I made this video because I had burnt myself pretty bad, and I burnt myself off of a stove, okay, or an oven, and I got a really big blister from it, and it inspired me to make a video because it's the same principle. And I thank you for liking that video. When I say that cancer is a sign of health, this is what I mean. And this is what I want you guys to tell your family out there, okay? Say your mom has cancer, okay? This is what I tell all of my family members and my friends. I say, is the substance that is in the cancer cells dangerous to the body? They say yes, of course. I mean, if you cut open the tumor or the sac and you let all those cancer cells out, it's going to lodge into different places, and now you're going to have cancer everywhere, okay? So yes, always remember this. One bad apple spoils the bunch, okay? That's the premise, okay? Now, if your body has created a bump, a sac in you, okay? In your breast, in your testicle, in your arm, underneath your armpit, and you feel a bump, and your doctor says it's cancerous, first of all, you should be so thankful that you're not dead 2 years ago, that you haven't already been dead, okay? What your body has just done was it has localized and formed an entity, a growth that you can identify and you can properly diagnose. Your diagnosis and your habits will be different if you have that lump in your breast, or if you have it on your thyroid gland, or in your pineal glands, okay? Now, if that sac was to suddenly rip open, you would be dead. Or your chances of survival would be greatly diminished. So your body is genius, and it has pulled together the sickness into a spot. Now, the great thing about cancer cells is we all know that by breathing, we keep our body like an instrument. We keep it flowing, okay? Oxygen, it gets rid of ailments that are anaerobic based. So basically, you have aerobic entities in your body and anaerobic. The anaerobic are against the oxygen. Okay, they don't like oxygen. They like the carbon dioxide. They like the carbon monoxide. They like the gases. Okay, they like the putrefaction and the acids and the breaking down. They love that. That's why they send those messages up your vagus nerve to your brain to say, when you smell Taco Bell and KFC, the chicken and the beef and all that, they want that pus and that mucus creating meat, okay? They want that. Now, these anaerobic pathogens, they explode, they die, they pop like a balloon. You should see it when introduced to air, okay? So oxygen is a great defender against these pathogens, okay? Okay. Now, when you are lacking oxygen in the body, cancer cells develop. And when we look into a tumor or a cancer cell or a cyst, do you know what type of shape or what kind of anatomy that cell looks similar to? And I'm gonna ask the chat. What's going on, bro Sanchez?
Hey, what's good, my brother? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just getting it in with this green stream. I'm answering all these questions. I have some questions set aside, and then I got some questions in the chat. Maybe you could take for me while I handle the questions that I have saved here. And I'm just taking it slow, going through the information right now so that people can thoroughly understand everything we talked about before we move on.
Okay, that's
So I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat, now we have our human cells, okay? The cells that look like ours. Do you know what the cells resemble when they turn cancerous? And I'll just wait for people in the chat to answer that. Okay. So what it is you're going to be amazed by this, because I just said that the human body is amazing. The cells in the cancer cells or the cysts or the tumors, they resemble plant cells. Plant cells, not human animal cells, but plant cells, okay? Let me pull this up. Now, do you know why this would be, anybody, or Bro Sanchez? Do you have any idea why your body would start forming plant cells in your body?
I never knew about what plant cells. That's interesting.
Yeah, so now they're not actual plant cells, but they're plant-like in its makeup, because what it's doing is, bro, what does a plant do for our environment?
Yeah, the plant definitely cleanses our environment.
Is your connection good, bro? Or do you want me to give you a mic check? You're a little crackling up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I might got too much stuff open. Is it a little better now?
Yeah, that's actually perfect. That's perfect. So yeah, so the plant cells in our environment, they take in carbon dioxide and they pump out oxygen. So I had just finished saying to the chat how when we are oxygen deprived, there are pathogens that love it, and they want you to stay oxygen deprived and carbon dioxide rich. They want you to be filling up with those putrefying gases. So when your body is suffocating, your body's ingenious makes plant cells, and they take in the gases and they release the gases that you need, like the oxygen, to restore the environment down there so that your insides can breathe. It's simply amazing. And that's facts. You could actually go look it up.
Yo, that's real interesting right there. I never even thought of it. Hey, I got your email too. You wild, boy.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, that was a great stream that you did earlier, man. That was big.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Yeah, so it's gonna be on, man. You know, we seem like we just be blended, keep on blending all these communities, man, and growing.
Yeah. I think that this year, 2019, is going to be the biggest growth year for just everybody, consciousness-wise.
Most definitely. Yeah, so I appreciate what you're doing over here with this green stream too. And I'm glad to see everybody out there in the chat room over here.
Yeah, peace and love to everybody in the chat. Now we got another. So Elizabeth 98, thanks for that. The cancer is a sign of health, because I mean we have to change the mentality. If somebody's in your family says, "Oh, the doctor says I have cancer," you should say, "Oh my God, thank goodness, you know, we could see it, and now we can actually do something to change it." I mean, imagine it was just floating around in your blood and you just drop dead one day. That wouldn't mean you had a healthy body, but you do have a healthy body because your body noticed it and it accumulated into a sac to save you. Okay, now where are we going to start? Do you want to fast? Do you want to go on water? You know what I mean? Now we can start helping them to the healing process. So B-Boy Arc says, "Hey, Masterpiece, could you possibly speak on people with asthma?" Yeah, most people with asthma have a lot of times when we are pulled out of the womb too early and we're spanked or whatever they used to spank us and whatever. A lot of times when we're pulled out too early and we're gasping that dry air for the first time, instead of being born underwater and letting the baby's lungs expand naturally, sometimes this creates a scarring, and the lungs never really get to open up. And because of this kind of like this influx, there's this friction which can create mucus. Also, the biggest thing, hands down, I mean, the scarring tissue, that was a once in a while case. The overwhelming majority of asthma sufferers are in the first world, so like North America and whatnot, and secondly, it is in the populations that consume most dairy. The meat, when people say to me, I want to get off the meat, I say, well, try to get off the dairy first. The dairy is so like the cheese, for example, that is so potent with proteins, and the milk is so potent and concentrated with sugars, that and estrogens and hormones and all that stuff, that it goes into your body and it creates mucus. The mucus is your body's way of slipping it out. You know, when you lose something up and to slip it out, it also traps pathogens and bacteria into your lymph nodes, right? So the mucus is like it's like a pusher, slider, and a trapper. And if you're not keeping it clean, then it's gonna build up and cake up. Okay, it's gonna cake up. And so now when you're producing, remember we talked about one bad apple spoils the bunch. Now when you're going for a walk or you get a little excited and you have all this mucus in your lungs and all this pus floating around in your blood and around your cells, your lungs don't have a chance to open up, let the oxygen in and cure it and clean it out and flush it. So it's always a revolving door. If you have asthma, the first thing that you have to do is stop intaking dairy, okay? Once you stop the dairy, your body can start to cleanse out a little bit more. Once you start the cleansing, the water will be the best friend. The water is going to overflow your body, so you're constantly peeing. You're constantly peeing out the impurities, okay? So mucus and dairy are like hand in hand. I mean, ice cream. And this is going back to when you were a kid. That dairy that you had when you were a kid may still be trapped up inside of you. So we need to detox the body.
Bro, dairy stay in you that long? That's crazy.
Yeah, because look, if you have a dirty filter, right? Whatever lint is caught on that filter is gonna grab more lint. If you clean out your dryer filter every time, you're gonna keep a good dryer. But if you don't clean it out between the time the use, it's like static. It's gonna be pulling it together. So it's like a revolving door. So if you don't clean it, it's gonna be grabbing more and more and more. So if we're not cleaning these mucus deposits, like one bad apple spoils a bunch, and we have rigid colons, and in the colon we have putrefying mucus and pus. When that's caked on in there and the poo is just sliding across it, years dressing the pocket where that dairy and everything is breaking down, prescription drugs, meat, the fat from the T-bone steak. So because we can't digest it, we don't have the enzymes for our body to break it down, it's gonna sit there as long as we move it out. So you need to, like, when you get off the dairy, that the one day you get off dairy, 2019, you got to detox your body for the next year, 2 years, and avoid that dairy. You might eat a whole piece of bread and then just realize it was made with milk solids. Now you're set back. Now you gotta cleanse that out. So it's always, it's always staying inside of you unless you're getting a proper cleanse, unless you're doing the fast, unless you're doing the enemas.
And how does it manifest itself over time? Sort of like that dryer. If you never change the filter, then it'll just start filling up with lint inside of there. How does this manifest in the body with all the dairy?
Well, for example, the lungs is a great one example to use for this with the dryer filter. If you keep on coating up those, the lint, if the lint keeps on coating up, your dryer is going to overheat. It's going to bust. This is what we call a flu, or eventually pneumonia and then death. When your lungs are filled up with, remember, your lungs create the heat for your body. Your lungs is the engine that, it's something that you do while you're sleeping. Okay. It's, you don't even have to think about it. And it's pumping your whole body. It's starting up your whole body. It's bringing the oxygen in. It's giving it to your blood. That blood is now moving across your heart. Your heart is regulating how much goes through and how much gets out to where. And the liver is cleaning. And so everything has their duty. But if the lungs are backed up and the air can't get inside to the blood, you're going to overheat. You're going to die. You're going to have a flu. You're going to get chest coughs and phlegm. And you're going to get bronchitis, and then pneumonia eventually. So the building up of things, the building up in the liver, the building up in the kidneys, the building up in the bladder, all of these things, if we're not constantly cleaning them through, then one buildup is going to affect something else. The buildup of the lungs is going to affect your body heat, and your doctor's going to say, oh, you have the flu, and he's going to give you antibiotics to lower your temperature. But you're not addressing the mucus, which is the problem, the main issue. Somebody in the chat said, in your chat tonight, Bro Sanchez, said that they should get a book called The Mucusless Diet. Hold on, let me go get it. Let me grab it.
While he grabbed that book, man, shout out to all of y'all out there supporting the show in all the ways. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Masterpiece dropping these jewels, man, for us, man. If you fucking with this green stream, go ahead, hit that like button.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thanks for that. Yeah, hit that like button, y'all. This is a great book. It just, I am convinced that Dr. Sebi read this book. Dr. Sebi said he doesn't read books. He doesn't read books, but he read books. Don't get it twisted. Dr. Sebi read books, and he got to a point where he didn't need books. He got to a point where his intuition led him. Okay, so you guys remember that one lecture that Dr. Sebi did in the church, and he got called out by that one father because he was saying, you can't be telling our kids not to read. That's the only thing that they have, in most cases. So I think that Dr. Sebi read this book because it talks a lot about how mucus is the source of all disease, and he coined that phrase, actually, the mucusless diet. And this was made in, it was published in, I think it was, where is it? I don't know why I can't find it. Published in, one second. In 1922, Professor Arnold Ehret completed his now world-famous mucusless diet healing system lessons course. So he made, by 1922, he had made this like a worldwide phenomenon, or anybody that could get the book. So so that's a really great book to use. It's really simple. I read it in 3 sittings, so about like 3 or 4 days. I read it. It was really good. You guys can do it that fast too, easily. Someone, phase 1 court says, I was thinking the same. My brother is a health freak and always sick. Okay, so a lot of times when we drop what we're doing and we make a change, we fall sick. And we're gonna expound on that in future topics when we talk about fasting and detoxing. But you know, the common rule is when you're detoxing, you know, you're gonna get some acne coming out or some bumps on your elbows or fatigue or something because you're detoxing. Okay, you're stirring up the pot. Okay, when you if you have a pot and it's filthy and it's sitting underwater and you see, you know, all the rice and gravy down there, to clean it, you got to murk up that water. When you're steering it around, you're lifting up the dirt again, okay, into your waters, into your system. So you're gonna feel drained, of course, okay. So for people that are switching to a healthy diet but are always getting sick, you need to give your body intervals. You need to be fasting more. You need to be relaxing more. A lot of times health freaks are always stressed out about what's in the ingredient and what time of day. Just relax. You know, I'm 31 years old. I'll be 32 next August, you know what I mean? And I don't celebrate birthdays because I don't really like to pay attention to my age and stuff like that. But what we have to realize is that after 31 years of eating the way you've been eating, it's okay to have the transition take a year or 2 or 3 years. Just as long as we're abstaining from purchasing, you know, exploitation food, like, you know, meat and dairy, things that exploit animal moms and kidnapping and all that stuff. And we slowly make the change, we can, that is actually a more permanent way of change, okay? And quickly, Naomi 415 says she uses a topical with cow tallow in it, which is like kind of like a fermented cow fat. And I would get off that deodorant. I think it was a deodorant you said, the cow tallow. See, these fats, they expel, fat and water don't mix, right? So how can you perspire water if there's fat, like there's like animal fat or like lard, right? With like cow tallow, right? How can you have water there? It'll bead up, it won't come out, it'll clog you up. You don't want to wear antiperspirants with aluminums in it that clog you up. You want to wear deodorizers, things that you know, that change your odor, lavender oils and, you know, witch hazels and stuff like that. Tea tree is especially great because tea tree penetrates down to the deepest layer of the dermis. So you don't want to use any animal product, like animal fat, underneath your arms. And not to mention the pathogens that might still be living in that cow fat, because the fat is very good for little bacteria to stay hidden, and then once they've been released, they get to grow into long tapeworms and stuff like that. Anything on your end, Sanchez?
No, I'm just I'm listening and enjoying the stream. Trying to see if we got any more questions out there.
Yeah, and if you can invite people in, like you can invite, you know, like the brothers in, Quentin and Quentin and the brothers. I want to open up the panel and whatever. Okay, cool. And Sir Drop and all of them, just all the boys, the girls too. Drop your email in the chat if you want Bro Sanchez to add you up. I'm a little bit when I focus in on something, especially giving people accurate information, it's hard for me to multitask. Even with my daughter, I'm like, sit over there, stop, do what you're doing. So, okay, so something else says, what if you're allergic to fruit? Impossible. That's an impossible statement to say you're allergic to fruit, because there's hundreds and hundreds of varieties of fruit. Furthermore, my best guess is you're not allergic to the fruit. You're probably more allergic to what is on or in the fruit by way of pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, fungicides. Okay? When you have these oil-based pesticides, larvicides, fungicides, herbicides, all these sides to genocide anything that's landing on your food, right? Get in the way of their money, the profit. When you take that bite of the mango, all those oil-based concoctions, they stick to that skin of the fruit, and when you have a product that is plant oil based, I just did a little review on my last couple streams about this product, Better Life. You know, I don't get paid for them. They don't. It's not that kind of company. But I saw them on the Shark's Tank because of how clean that they get surfaces. And I put this on the range hood of my oven, and I noticed that it was very, very easy to clean off all the years of caked on grease, where nothing else would have worked that good before. So this is great and it's safe, right? So there's a bunch of oils which don't mix well with water on the surface of your fruits, because they've been sprayed with pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and larvicides and all that. So when we sit the fruit in vinegar or a safe food spray or something that's going to break down the oils, then you can wash it off and give it a final wash in like distilled water or something, and then try it, okay? You'll notice the itchiness goes down a lot more, and you may not react. So it may not be the fruit. It's usually always the pesticide. Now, some fruits, the fibers are so soft that the pesticides actually, they get into the fruit, okay? They leach into it. Animals will make a bite, and then the pesticide will go on, it'll get in the hole, it'll get up the other side. So you want to shop organic and try different fruits out. You know, to say I'm allergic to fruit, it can't be the case. It just cannot be the case, especially when fruits are the very first thing we should be eating. Berries and fruits, you know what I mean? It is your building blocks of keeping you clean and keeping you, you know, healthy. So I hope that helps you out there, because fruit is also.
I don't know why a lot of these guys, a lot of people trying to get on, but they saying they can't join, and I don't know what's going on. I'm sending them the link, but they saying they can't join.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll handle that right now. I'll send them the link.
I just tested the link and it's working for me. You know what? Because I can't invite them straight through here. There we go.
What's going on, y'all?
Hey, did the link work for you?
The one Masterpiece sent.
Oh, okay. Damn, I wonder why mine ain't work. All you did was copy and paste it, Masterpiece?
Yeah, that's all I did. Maybe it's because it was coming from me or something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe so. It's crazy.
Yeah, welcome in. Just okay. I'm just gonna get through some of these here like that. Then I can get to the panel's questions, and we can just have a fun build. You know, Tchaikovsky May says, "What causes mucus?" And that's simple. Indigestible foods. Okay, indigestible foods. Mucus is formed to help it slide, like I said. But these indigestible foods, they further degrade. So if your tract is not clean, your digestive tract is not clean, which none of ours is, I mean, honestly, then it's going to get caught up with the mucus, degrading, causing, you know, fungus and other stuff to degrade when it comes into contact with it. Remember, one bad apple spoils a bunch, right? So you eat that cookie, okay? You eat the cookie and you swallow the cookie, and it comes into contact with a lump of feces in your colon that was started from a piece of steak, a steak that you had, okay? Now you have this steak that has been there, say, for 2 years, and it's a wet environment, so there's pus and there's like little furries like kind of floating around it. And you eat the cookie, and the cookie gets kind of lodged into that old steak, that 2-year-old piece of steak in there. Because of that environment is so void of oxygen and good water, that cookie is not going to pass out of you. It is going to also stay there and degrade. And because it is not a whole food like an apple, your body doesn't know what to do with it. So your body now thinks that that is a free radical, something that's not supposed to be there. It sends more healing waters to it. You get more inflamed, and because we're not changing our diet, that saliva, that mucus, it solidifies over time, harder and harder and harder and harder until you get a cyst, until you get a tumor. So that's one thing. Your Sweet Place says, no breaks chase. Everyone should be cleansing. You'd be surprised how much disease stems from the digestive system. And I would say that all disease that is degenerative and acquired throughout your life starts from the digestive system. And remember, the digestive system starts at your lips and your mouth, and it ends at your butt. Yeah,
Hey,
someone want to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to throw in on what you were saying. Like, I agree with you on all of that. Let me say that first and foremost. Another thing that people should look at as well is that you want to give your body at least 4 hours to pass food before you go to bed. Because when you go to sleep, you want your whole body to go to sleep. Your colon, your stomach, and everything is still working while you sleep. And then when you wake up, because you study eating, so it never get a rest. And one good thing to do is to give those organs a proper time to rest as well. And it'll probably be best, when you go to sleep, when you're resting. So give yourself adequate time for your food to pass before you go to bed, so that way that those organs can relax and not be overworked as well with all the with digesting all of the food and all the trails that the food go through the system. You want to just let each individual organ get a rest, besides just your brain. Well, not necessarily your brain, but like you personally when you go to sleep.
That's definitely true. Why that amount of time? Why 4 hours? Because it typically takes that long for the food to get from your stomach and into your colon, at least starting the breaking down process. I mean, like we said, that there's things like Skittles and beef and stuff that's gonna stay there a lot longer. But as long as you're giving yourself that time, even in between meals, right? Like when your babies are saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, we got to realize, well, yo, you just ate like 2 hours ago. You know what I mean? You just ate 3 hours ago. A lot of times we're stuffing our kids. Like it was like a thing to just give kids as much food as we could possibly give them. Never deprive kids when they're crying for food. They're saying their brains got to grow, and it's actually quite the opposite. Like the brother said, when we go to sleep, he said we want all the organs to go to sleep. So what does that mean? That means that when we're eating, all the organs are engaged. The stomach, the kidney, the gallbladder, you know what I mean? The liver, everything is working, and is working at its hardest. Nothing is harder than digesting food. So not only do we want to give it 4 hours before we go to sleep, which is absolutely correct, and maybe another 4 hours after we wake up, drink some water and get the day started. But in between those meals, especially for the children, because I'll tell you this, I'll tell you what. If you give your child like prune juice or some sort of laxative like papaya, and you sit back and watch them crap, you're gonna say, how the hell did you have all of that inside of you in your little body? Can anybody relate? When your baby had like a diarrhea and it just went and it was like, where'd you put all that?
Definitely.
It's like you've been holding all that in, and you realize that's what got you sick. I knew all this information, but with a baby, it's so quick to see. You know, as soon as you say, "Huh, she hasn't pooed at all today," or "Damn, he didn't poo all yesterday," and they're stuffed up and they're getting sick, and then you give them a probiotic and some prune juices, and they crap it all out. You notice instantly they can breathe again, and they're getting better sleeps, or you know what I mean? It's a crazy relation there. Yeah, go ahead. Captain, what's good?
What's good, brother? I was just joining in, listening in, enjoying the build.
Oh, no doubt. Knowledge Uprising. What's going on? Welcome.
What's up, brother? What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm just trying to keep on schedule with these green streams and answering as many questions. And I know you got a lot of questions, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. Quentin and Rula, thank you for joining me as well.
You know, my brother, I had to come through for some support. I always be checking them out. I didn't know you do. You know, when you decided to do an open stream, I said, "Fuck it, I'll get up here with you."
Yeah, I don't normally do this, but you know, it's important to do. It's important to do. This is a special episode, and every few episodes, I want to break into Q&A so that we can, you know, understand what's going on. What's going on, Rula?
Hey, my girl asked, was you raw vegan or regular vegan?
So I am currently regular vegan, and I like to go into phases of raw and out, and I like to go into phases of fasting. But I hope to die a raw vegan. You know, I hope to die not having to cook my food and not wanting to feel that hotness on my tongue and down my throat. It's unnatural, right? If we were to leave this plane, the controlled fires would leave as well. So I'm trying to get to that raw state. It's tough.
What you eat for protein?
Well, see, the thing is, and I guess I have to cut my camera on for this because you know, that's the question, right? What do you do for protein? I'll say this to you guys, okay? When you eat protein, all your body is doing, like, say, okay, I got an apple, right? And there's protein in the apple. Say there's like 0.3 grams of protein in the apple, okay? Because there's protein in everything, parsley, kale. So I got I got proteins in here, but there's also amino acids, okay? Now, the proteins that's already made in the plant, that type of protein is the only type of protein that exists in the world. The protein that is in the plant, it doesn't exist in the cow. It doesn't exist in the chicken, okay? When you break down and open up protein, it turns into nitrogenous materials, okay? And from there, that nitrogen goes to repair the muscles and it goes throughout your body, and your body takes what it needs and it buffers what it doesn't need, okay? Whatever. But what we want for protein is amino acids, okay? There's no such thing as a protein in your body that you have used and made by yourself. What I mean is, you don't get all these amino acids together and then you make a protein and then your body says, okay, now I got a protein, now I can use the protein. It's not like that. It's imagine a factory with a conveyor belt, and maybe every 18 things that go by, that's a protein and it's counted as a protein. What I mean is there's only amino acids to structure a protein in your body, but your body uses it before it's turned into a protein. So it just takes this amino acid for that amino acid for this muscle repair, that amino acid. It's a constant grabbing amino acids. The proteins are only made in plants. We break down proteins. Plants build up proteins. We break them down. In our body, we just grab amino acids. That we're not actually building a protein to then use it for some other time. Okay?
It's
I
8
feel that.
o'clock.
Good answer.
So go ahead. Okay. For example, okay? We got parsley here. It's loaded with amino acids, but it also has built up its own proteins. Remember, the plant has its own life. And where you find the proteins in plants is in the stems, okay? Don't throw away your stems when you're making your salads. Just dice them up very small or shred them or something. But the proteins are in the stem, okay? Giving it body, okay, along with the fibers, okay? That's for its own use. When we eat that protein, we're just breaking it down into nitrogenous matters again. But something like hemp seeds, okay, something that is primordial, something that happens before the buildings of the protein, these have like 21 amino acids in them or something like that. We only need like 18 or 19 amino acids to fully address what we need with muscle repair, okay? Now, we don't need a lot of protein. The difference between, the difference that you would need, oh, are you okay? Ouchies. Are you okay? The difference that a bodybuilder needs of protein is much different than your average person, okay? It's much less, the amount of protein that a bodybuilder needs is not much more than your average person, okay? Because protein is not the sustainer of life. In fact, protein is super hard to break down. Next to fat, it's the hardest thing to break down. So we don't want to be looking for foods with high proteins in it. We just want to be looking for a variety of food, because this has 5 amino acids in it. This has 7 amino acids in it. This has 8 amino acids in it. This moringa will have, say, 12 amino acids in it. You put that in your body, and suddenly your body's manufacturing its own proteins, quote unquote. But your body is using up these amino acids before it has a chance to build up a protein to use. So that's the kind of myth that they put out there. They say, you know, cows have protein and you should eat it. Well, not really, because if the cow is eating the grass and it's using what goes in its body, it takes it in and it crushes it up, it breaks it apart, and then now some of it goes to the neck, and some of it goes to the thyroid, some of it goes to the ass, some of it goes to the legs, the ankles that it's been standing on, some of it goes to the tail, you know what I mean? It gets split up and is being used. So how can we expect a piece of steak or a burger to have any protein in it at all? What is actually happening is we are taking in nitrogenous matters, steroids, antibiotics, and a whole bunch of other stimulating things. So we feel jacked, we feel strong, we feel like we can just do anything when we have that burger and that steak in us. But put them on the field to work, and I swear to you, the carnivore is the one that is tapping out first. Okay? And I've worked with a lot of people that eat meat, and they tap out way quicker. I'm lifting things fine. All of our work animals are vegan, people. All of our work animals are plant-based. And that's because the plant's cell structures, it's so hard to break it down and unlock all of those amino acids and the calcium. So it endures. It endures longer as it goes through our long intestines that only herbivores have. It's slowly giving off its stimulation, its energy. Okay, so that's why herbivores are much longer workers and harder workers than omnivores are. I'm just gonna eat this right now.
Hey, Masterpiece, what's a good food to eat to rebuild, your amino acids after a workout?
You want hemp. I mean, if we're talking about simplicity and things that are loaded with omega fatty acids as well, just to help those nutrients be carried through. The hemp seed. I mean, you could blend this up in a shake. Add this to your cashew milk, your walnut milk, your hemp milk. You can get hemp milk. You know what I mean? This by far is what I would say. It's the perfect amino profile for you to get everything you need. So hemp seeds for sure, and they're cheap. Thank you very much.
A lot of them seeds, like flat seeds and hemp seeds, you can throw you like a whole bunch of them joints, like chia seeds, in your smoothie, and that's how you can get a bunch of them in you too. Like you might not want to eat a cup full of chia seeds, but you can soak them in a little water and throw 2 cups full in your smoothie, and you'll be getting that amount in your smoothie.
Yep. Or you can dash a bunch of these on a salad. You could put a bunch of them in your peanut butter and spread your almond butter, your cashew butter. Now remember, your body doesn't use up everything at one time. When you go for a workout, you still have stores and stores of vitamins and aminos and calciums. Okay, so you don't have to come home and think that you're replenishing what you just took out. If you have this naturally just in your diet all the time, then you don't really have to worry about the pre's and the posts. Your pre and post is going to be your natural energy givers and body builders and tissue repairers. If you want a nice pre, a pre is a nice, maybe a little bit of lemon juice in water with some salt, with some pink salt. That's a good pre. Or even like a quick drink of coconut water from the real coconut. That's a good pre as well. And then a post would be like the good coconut, the meat inside the coconut. That would be a great post, and mixed with some almond butter or cashew butter and some hemp seeds or whatever. So that'll keep you good. And She Ether, thank you so much. She said thanks for the info. I'm always here to give the info. And Tengami E Magnet, she says thank you, and I'm saying blessings and thank you. I hope you like that answer that I gave you. Knowledge for Ignorance 75 says, what about peppermint oils for canker sores? Any oils are really good for any types of anything. I mean, sores, cysts, growths, anything. But peppermint, it might burn you if you have an open sore in your mouth and you put peppermint on it. Okay, that you might want to go easy with that. You might want something more like a eucalyptus or a rosemary, or maybe even more like a frankincense or something like that. Okay, something less like stingy.
Hey, can I just piggyback on you real quick, bro?
Yeah, you guys jump in at any time you want. Anytime, it's an open panel.
No, I was gonna say, once you eliminate all them bad foods out your body and replenish your body with the proper foods, a lot of those things you wouldn't even have to worry about. Like I used to have like acid reflux problems like real bad since a kid. Even used to put me in the hospital. And when I did go vegan, like they went away. my energy levels went up. Another thing that you spoke on as far as like the morning time, like not eating first thing in the morning, that is right. The first thing in the morning, I mean, what my schedule used to be was, I drink a bottle of water, and then I'll wait like an hour, and then I'll make me some ginger root tea because the ginger root will give me energy. It's a waker up. And I'll wake almost like about 3-4 hours before I even start eating in the morning, just to let my body start fully functioning, because I'm waking up. I want to get everything in sync with each other before I even start putting food in my digestive system and start working my organs. And another thing is you digest food way more faster than what you would if you eat meat and dairy and stuff, because that stuff kind of clog up your colon. Where when you start eating the natural food, it properly passed through because your body is already designed to intake that food.
Yep. That's facts. It's true. It's kind of like we got to think of it as a machine, right? We got to warm it up in the mornings and wake it up with the little trickles of water. And your body says, oh, what's this? Okay, let's kind of start the machines going. And then you get denser, then lighter until no food. And like you said, 4 hours at least, and you'll be good. Under the Ether says, peace to Under the Ether, actually. He says that your mom had your stomach removed. Your mom had her stomach removed and is also looking to have her gallbladder removed soon as well. She has a so-called genetic disorder that I apparently have as well. Well, first of all, genes can be turned on and off, as you know, but maybe she doesn't know. And there is no genetic disease. What it is it is a handing down of diet and tradition, right? It's a handing down of the shepherd's pie and the Jamaican patties. And then you say, well, but I was born with it. Yeah, but you were spending 9 months in a female who ate all that stuff, the goat and the over processed foods and stuff like that. And then you are coming from a male who is probably eating the pus and the mucus diet, the flesh and the dairy and the refined foods. So your sperm could have been, already diminished, and then the eggs and the environment that you grow up with already diminished. So it's not genetic, like it's something that you are completely a slave to. You can change your genetics. You can turn them on and off. What I'm guessing is because they're older, they're more reluctant to change the diet. They're more reluctant to get off. A lot of times in the older generations, their milk and their whole dairy operation was way different than it is today. So we look at the dairy today and we say it's got to stop. It's an abomination. But the elder people are thinking, but it's just a couple cows on the farm and their kids are out there every morning with their hands on the udders. It's not like that anymore. So Under the Ether, if she wants to stop having parts of her removed, then she needs to stop intaking the things that are going to compromise her. And if she is already plant-based and vegan, then the extreme fasting is the only things that can help. But I'm afraid that so much of her code is missing with a whole stomach. That's a lot of information, genetic information. And a gallbladder coming out in the future, that's a lot more information out of your body hologram. So, it's like taking, a carburetor off of an engine. It's like when you're missing parts, you can't really expect it to work as long or as efficient. And I'm sorry to say that, but I know how it is.
Yeah, I got family members right now that diet is compromising their health from years of it, and then you got medicines that ate up the lining of their stomach to the point where all of these side effects of all of these different medicines for 30 years plus, of course, you know, at this point, it's barely anything you can do with that. You know what I mean?
Yep. And as soon as you try to detox, those things get kicked right back up in your system. So, I mean, if you have prescription pills from 30 years ago and you try to detox, you might feel a little bit of a buzz or something, or bit of a anxiety from those pills finally cleansing out through your system. Firestarter 7565 says, what about what we wear and how we clean our clothes? Well, that's huge too. First of all, what we wear should be loose. You know what I mean? It should allow the blood to flow. Especially for girls. Girls should have the weight on their shoulders as opposed to around their waist and hips. We all should, actually. That's why they got rid of the suspenders, okay? They got rid of the suspenders and made it seem like it was too much work, when really every pair of pants can come with a pair of suspenders. Like, you know, you have a girl's top, like a halter top, right? And they have those loop strings inside for when they want to hang it, they can hang it. So they should do the same thing with pants, where they have like loops in the pants or on the outsides. And if you want to put them up like overalls, then you can. So the weight should be on the shoulders. That's where the weight should be, on top of the spine. And they should be light and loose, you know, but not all of us live in nice warm climates like me here. So you got to layer up. So layering up with loose stuff is the way to go. You don't want to cut off circulation, especially around this area, especially for ladies, around the hips, because the as we all know, the uterus, that's like a secondary filter. That's like a secondary stomach. That's like a woman's second stomach. All the overflow and toxicity that can't be handled in the primary digestive tract overflows to the uterus, and that the shedding once a month will become heavier, a heavier flow, because there's more waste to get rid of. So how do we clean the clothes? I like to put natural products in. You know, companies that say that they're natural, I like to read the ingredients and whatever. I like to pronounce all the ingredients. And more, I do that for people. But when I live, say, on my own, or I'm doing just my daughters, I just put some oils in it, like some like lavender oils and like eucalyptus or something like that. And maybe a little bit of, even like a little bit of my shower gel, because my shower gel is so natural. I just put like a little drop in because it obviously bubbles up a lot. So as long as you can find something natural that's not gonna, you know, do too much harm on the environment, too much damage to your skin, and not perpetuate like the Procter and Gamble, you know what I mean, the Tide and the Sunlight. It's all BS. You know, to have like a blue soap liquid, it's, you know, go to something more natural. Scrap the dryer sheets. If you can find dryer sheets that are natural with like natural scents in them, that's good. Why? Because the scents, the stimulating smells, they are, especially for a pregnant woman, those chemicals are going up, and they are causing different glands to release different stress hormones, we can call them, okay? And a lot of times those stress hormones are very testosterone-like. So fibroid cysts and all this stuff, it goes up in women. So yeah, just try to keep your clothes as loose, comfortable, and natural as possible. Vegan clothes if you can, I'm hoping, and the soap as well. Keep that natural as well. And you guys can jump in. I'll pass this mic around. DZ Flatmouth F Power says, please break down how there's really four natural elements: air, water, earth, fire, and not the ones in the BS periodic table. Anybody want to take that while I grab some material?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to come join the panel, and also relating to health. Right now I'm on a fast, so Yeah, I would like some information on the fast, like nutrition wise. I already know like a lot about the fast, but if you have any like knowledge that's hidden to the public about fasting, I would um enjoy that, I guess.
Cool, cool. Thanks, Faru. Um, the fasting is something that is it's so vital, and it can be so profound that I want to dedicate 1 or 2 episodes on fasting alone. There's a lot of good information on the net on YouTube about fasting right now. It's going to talk about how as soon as you stop eating, your body is going to go into a repair mode. It's going to go into cleanse mode. The old science says if you don't eat, your stomach is going to eat itself. It's going to eat its own inner lining and its own cells. That's not true. What's happening is your body is stripping away dead cells. Okay, it's kind of like dry brushing and exfoliating. That's what happens. I mean, imagine if you're working in your body. Okay, if you are a worker inside of your body, and you're seeing all this food come down, and you're trying to put the food here and break the food up and put it in there and try to organize. When will you ever have time to scrub, to give your walls a nice scrub? You know what I mean? You can only do that when, say, you stop eating for a day or two, okay? Now, 4 or 5 hours into not eating, your body goes into this mode. The thing is that it starts the cleansing mode, and then you eat again the next hour. So now you have a bunch of dead blood cells and your food. And then you wait 3 hours, 4 hours, 5, and then your body's detoxing, and then you go get a sandwich. Now the wheat is now mixing in with your old dead blood cells, right? The bad apple spoils the bunch. Now your nutritious food is getting damaged and putrefying because it's got old body cells that it was just trying to detox, okay? But you just cut it short, right? Okay, now, if you allow that process to happen further and further, more and more and more layers of dead skin and of dead cells are going to come off, and it's going to be ejected into your poo and into your pee. Now, a lot of times people will look into the blood in Western medicine and they say your white blood cell count is too low. But a white blood cell is a damaged, non-working blood cell. It is a throwaway cell. I don't care what they try to show you or what they try to say about it. It's a cell that has lost its charge. It's lost its heme. It's lost its iron. It's useless. It's part of the stripping of the cells. You know when you get a canker sore in your mouth and it turns white? You know, you get a blister and it turns white? That's that skin. You can just peel it away. It's the same thing. They say, but the white blood cells, they are for your immune system, and it's like the firefighters of your body, and they go around and they cool off all the inflammation. Well, I have a question. Why is the firefighters deployed if there's no fire? At the fire station, there's a bunch of firefighters sitting in it. They're not cruising the streets because there's no fire. If they're cruising the streets, that means there's fire. That means that there's something going on. There's always a form of inflammation going on. But your body can naturally get rid of that inflammation from fasting. If you just stop the abuse from the food and stop the eating, then your body will directly go into that cleansing mode, and then you will start the cleansing process. Now, the most important part of the fast is how you get back into eating, because the way you get back into the length of your next fast is going to dictate the strategy of how you fast next. And for one last thing, remember, there's so much about fasting, right? So I'm gonna have to break up the question and save it for another video. But quickly, when we do a fast, say for 2 days, and then we eat, and then we do another fast for 3 days, and then we eat. A lot of time, you brought up nutrition. A lot of times we're thinking, okay, well, I have to eat the healthiest thing when I get back into eating. That is incorrect. And yeah, I'm saying that. It's crazy, but I'm saying that. At that point with the fasting, we're not looking to eat for nutrition. We're looking to eat for mechanics, okay? And that is described in the book, in this book here, and many other fasting methods. What I'm talking about is this. Avocados, very, very high in nutrients, very good for you, right? But if you eat it right after a fast, it's so thick and so dense with fats that, remember I said fat is the hardest thing to break down, that your body is going to go from digesting nothing into hyper mode. It's going to be like, you know, skidding the brakes, doing an endo on your bicycle, okay? It's too much too soon. What we want is, we want something watery. It can be grapes, mango, but we're not looking for the nutrition. What we're looking is for the acidic component of the fruit, okay? So let me make it clear, okay? We're not looking for nutrition when we go back onto eating from fasting. What we're looking to do is to sweep out the filth that we just detoxed, okay? So we fast 1 day, we fast 2 days. Now I'm ready to eat again. Well, I have all this dead blood cells and all this putrefying waste that is my body's finally accumulated up into my gut, and now I'm ready to get rid of it. What am I going to eat? Well, I want something that, like an orange or a lemon, that has the acid, like all fruits do, like a grape, that has the acid to really make that fat and the oils and the pus pliable again. We want the acids to really shake it up and loosen it up. And then we want a broom to sweep it out, okay? Now, remember, you don't have hands and scrubbers in your colon. It's just a tube that convulses. It just convulses to send food from here to this hump, to that hump, to the next phase. So we want something like parsley and kale that is going to, you know, be rigid and have the really hard corners to really sweep through and act as a broom in your colon to push out everything that you've just detoxed. That's why it is so key not to eat for nutrition, but for the mechanical structure. What is the food going to do to what you've just detoxed? Okay. Now, I know that was long, but I'm going to be doing a very clear episode on fasting and detoxing specifically for that reason. But I hope that was sufficient for now. I be eating kale and greens like a rabbit over here, y'all.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I do a lot of that stuff myself in salads, though. You know, I see how you just eating it raw right out the bag, not even preparing it with no salad or that. That's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been long enough now. It's been long enough. I had a nice salad today earlier with my daughter. Just had parsley, kale, some lemon on it, and a touch of olive oil, and hers was hemp oil, and it was lovely. It was lovely. A touch of pink salt. It was good.
Yeah, I be eating weird shit too, man. Like when I wake up, when I do eat, I eat like 2 oranges, some pico de gallo, avocado, and I don't know, maybe some blueberries or something like that, but some type of berries and shit. It just be like a weird ass combination.
Hey, I'm gonna give y'all a bomb ass salad dressing that's simple as hell. Lemon juice and pepper. I'm telling you, on your salad, that shit go hard.
Oh hell yeah, I've been on that Sanchez. That shit be smacking.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, like a lot of the food being mentioned and like my ethnicity, I guess, it's Kenyan. And a lot of the foods we eat, and since my plant-based journey, my family isn't like full-on plant-based, but they're moving on towards it. We eat a lot of lentils, kales, spinach, a lot of greens, but they say a lot of those foods that we eat in Kenya would be considered food for the poor, or like for poor people. And the mentality is that rich people eat like whole lot of meat. If you're fat, it's considered wealth or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of times our cultural diets or our traditional diet, we don't realize that it's like slave food, like throwaway parts, the ears and the chitlins, the ham hocks, the chicken feet. It's yeah, even salads, mixing all what you can together to make a big feast. Did you know that the the more complicated the dish is, the harder it is for your body to actually figure it out? In fact, I've mixed so many ingredients in one dish, I've threw it up before. It's just too much happening. Your body says, no, no, I can't deal, get it out. And it just throws it up. And a lot of times when you give babies like a plate, say like you got like tomatoes and cucumbers and apples, they'll eat the apples, and then they'll eat the cucumbers, and then they'll eat, you know what I mean? They'll go one at a time. So one big thing is mono meals. Choosing to have one big meal, say of kale, but as minimal ingredients as you can in it. So instead of having kale with the onions and the garlic and the tomatoes and cucumbers and bell peppers and the thyme and the mustard seeds and the, you know what I mean? It can, like, some Indian dishes reach up to like 20 ingredients, 20 spices and ingredients, you know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's too much for the body to handle, where the body, if it doesn't throw it up, it puts it aside again until it can get to it. And often, because we eat so much, we never get to it. So somebody says, what causes Shirley Ditas says, what causes chronic bloating on a vegan diet? Well, sometimes that's the fact, is that we're eating too fast, too many ingredients in one dish. Also, the lentils, the lentils and the beans, they have a lot of protein. And like I said, it breaks down to nitrogen gas, right? So you get gassy, right? Boom, it just proved my point right there. You may want to switch to things more simple like quinoa. And if you're drinking sodas, maybe stop the sodas. That'll leave you bloated, but that's another thing to try. Also the oil. Try not to eat too many things that have been heavily fried. A lot of Indian food, when you get the dish, there's like a layer of oil swimming on top of it. So that's another thing to watch out for. Truth Searcher says going vegan is more than stop eating meat and dairy. You gotta in what fruits and vegetables to taking some of them are man-made and GMO. I'm trying to read.
Man, that's kind of old. I sent that a long time ago.
Yeah,
or unless somebody else's name is True Searcher or something like that. I don't know. But I kind of remember saying something like that. But it sounded kind of fucked up. Like autocorrect was
that
messed
just
up.
freaked me out. I thought he was talking about you.
Yeah, that was you. That was you, actually. That was from your the first or second stream. I saved all the comments.
No, I was basically because it sounded like the typing and autocorrect kind of messed up what I was saying. I was saying I was speaking on sometimes like how like back in the 90s, a lot of people that was going vegan, screaming, people was calling them health nuts and stuff, but they was still popping up with cancer. So, I was basically speaking on a lot of times just because, people stop eating meat and dairy, it's products that's not that that can also harm your body. Like, I don't deal with soy at all. I kind of try to watch and see what chemicals are being used when processing, like as far as like if they spraying the fruits and the vegetables. I also clean my fruits and vegetables before I eat them, and then there's certain vegetables and fruits I don't eat because even though there are some natural hybrids, I'm all aware that there are some man-made hybrids as well, and anything that's like man-made, I try to stay as far away from that.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, the washing of it is very, very crucial. And I go shopping. I come home. I sip my produce and the stuff into the sink. And that's it. What do you wash it with? Like a lemon juice, vinegar? What do you wash it with?
I usually soak mine in like not warm, but like cold warm in vinegar, and I let it soak for hours, and then I start rinsing it off. Because like if you can find a fruit or a vegetable with like the barcode on it, little thing, and it says 9, well, it's supposed to mean that it was organically grown and not sprayed with chemicals or anything like that. Now I can't guarantee that, but it's people that that are vegans as well that have spoke highly on that. But a lot of our stuff have like the number 4, which means that it was sprayed with pesticide and stuff like that. And then if it got any number other than that, I don't buy those at all. So with a lot of the fruits and vegetables having the barcode that start with the number 4, the grocery stores where I stay at, I for the most part I have to like soak my fruits and vegetables and clean them before I start storing them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of them fruits and vegetables also, man, be having wax on them, man. That's why it's good to soak them shits too.
Yeah, that's why I was speaking of. You can actually like when I start rinsing them off, you can actually see the wax
Yeah,
like
they
washing
just help
off.
the shelf life to make them look like they fresh, but they really don't be fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And in nature, the plant really should grow its own biofilm, and it's not having a chance to do that. The biofilm is you can kind of actually see it in some fruits. You can like kind of peel it off. Like for example, like a waxy, like when you're taking cabbages and the waters they bead, that actually has like a microfilm of goodness on it. When you eat that, those microbacterias, they go in and they help your body. And a lot of times with these spray foods, it doesn't the plant doesn't get to build up its own natural waxy coating. It's kind of like an artificial waxy coating. But you will see how bead bubbles, beads of water, they just bead down the fruit and stuff. This is to prevent mold, obviously, right? And to keep them dry. But yeah, so yeah, you got to find something to break through that oil, that pesticide layer, and try to shop organic as possible because it also gets into the flesh of the fruit. But one thing is that I understand everybody's at every level. I mean, I've been to Florida, Melbourne, Florida, where my grandma is, and it's really hard for me to find good stuff. You know what I mean? Unless I go to like a farmer's market. So I know that whether you're broke or whether you're in a part of rural development where you can't get all this stuff, I know it's hard, but just do as best as you can. Try not to stress about it. Ronald Light Ronald Littles. I like how you spelled that. Ronald Littles. It's always and only about circulation. The body breathes, inner skin. You see, the circulation, that's like what I'm talking about with that flow. We always talk about how a flowing river you can drink from, while a pond that's stagnant you can't. So the circulation, the blood flow, the air filling up your lungs, because the air is another form of water, right? It's a lighter form of water. The flow of your fluids when you drink to the pee, there you always got to be translucent. This is what is called taking back your light body, gaining back your light body. You want to be lighter, and you want to cast less shadows. Like if you Look at this. If you got a filter here, or if you got a strainer here, right? Now say this strainer is your colon, right? There's little holes in it for the nutrients to be absorbed into your body. Now, the more and more you eat and you don't clean this filter, the more and more it's going to get blocked up, and the less and less nutrients are going to be able to pass through. But I also said in a couple streams ago that sunlight passes through everything. And even though it's minimal traces of sunlight, it's still enough. It should be enough to shine light on these tapeworms and these parasites that don't like the light, that like the dark, you know, and they like the carbon dioxide and the toxic wastelands. So when we clean our colons out and we let it breathe again, suddenly we're also letting in more light so that we can move back into our light body, so that we don't cast shadows. Because once this food gets stuck up onto the walls of your colon, it's going to cast a shadow. Okay, it's going to provide darkness, a shady area for the pathogens to hide out and to breed. So you want to just keep your filters nice and clean and nice and light. You know, that's where your light body comes from. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the y'all are quiet on the panel tonight.
Nah, you know, we just want to let you say what you got to say. You know, I know a lot of people out there would like to get that information, so we trying to, you know, I know I'm trying to be respectful and let you get off everything you want to say.
Most definitely. Yeah, respect. Okay, so I have now answered all the questions that I have saved for this show, and then now I can go into the chat. Now I can get to the chat. Peace and love to the chat. Peace to all the donations. Peace to everybody with us. Peace to Vegan Warrior. I see you in the chat. Inquisitive Bunny. Everybody out there. Backpack Zoe. What's good? 6-day water fast before. Want to go longer period. Damn, 6-day. That's very good. Self-care, boss. That's very good. Keep that up. Try a week next time. That's great. So a lot of people don't understand that. Like, you know, we have become so conditioned to eating food and depending on food that it is like our number one sustainer, right? Because if we are withheld food for 3-4 days, we'll stress ourselves out and we'll die. You know what I mean? We can't handle it. We don't know what starving is here in the Americas. But you consciously fast for 5 days, for 10 days, a week, a month, whatever. If you are consciously fasting, then you are instantly stopping the very thing that is keeping you sick. People say, "Oh, you know, I have a cyst in my testicle, right? I got a cyst in my testicle, and they want to remove it." And then I say, "Well, how did you get it?" And then they act like, you know, it's not their fault. Oh, it's I think it's like genetic or just, I don't know how it happened. Well, there was something wrong with your eyes like a couple years ago, wasn't there? Yeah. And then there was that whole lung thing that you had earlier. Yeah. So now it's manifesting in your testicle. And then if you take what the doctor wants to give you, it's just going to suppress it and it's going to move it to the bladder. And then you're going to get some bladder urinary infection, antibiotic stuff, and it's going to move up to your, you know what I mean, your hips. And you know what I mean? It's, if you're not addressing the issue, it's always going to move around. So the issue is the eating, because as a baby, if you weren't fed the breast or if you were growing up, if you weren't giving the applesauce and whatever, you would die. So if the eating is what's sustaining you currently, then you need to stop the eating in a controlled way and a smart way in order to not sustain what's going on. You can't, yeah.
I had a question just to add on to that. You know, that goes into like cravings. Do you have anything to add, like with people having specific cravings? Because
Yeah.
I know some
Mhm.
people want something sweet, some salty, something, you know, so is that like a chemical imbalance or something like that?
Well, okay, sometimes you'll walk by a banana in your house and it'll be like, whatever, it's a banana, whatever. And then other days you'll walk by and you'll double take that banana and say, God, give me that banana. And then you'll be like, it's been so long since I've had a banana. Damn, I'm gonna have more of these. And then you don't, you know what I mean? And then you see it again and you say, oh, it's been so long. This kind of like touch and go relationship with which most people have with their fruits is what that is your body is low, say on potassium. Bananas are high in potassium. Really, avocados are just as high. Moringa is great for potassium as well. But your body recognizes that it got that from the potassium. So your body says, oh, yo, you're low on the potassium. Grab that banana. And then it turns into a crave. You're like, oh, you know what? I should grab that banana. But that crave, you would never have someone going through withdrawals if they said, okay, no more bananas. Why? Because the banana is a whole food. It's not gonna leave you addicted, leave you fiending for it. Okay, so there's a difference between the crave of, hey, you need some calcium, better get. There's a difference between crave, like when you think about a McDonald's burger and you see the McDonald's burger on TV, because it's obviously not good for you. Those are the parasites. Those are the tapeworms, the hookworms that are actually pumping out different types of chemicals in your gut to be read and sent via your vagus nerve to your brain saying, yeah, I want that. But it's not your brain, not you saying you want that. It's them saying that they want it, transferring it to your brain, making it think that it's your thoughts. That's how the parasite works.
What's a good cleanse for those parasites?
What's what for the parasite?
A good detox for those specific parasites, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a lot of people they usually ask me, what kills parasites? And I said, are you sure you want to do that? Like, are you sure you want to kill that hookworm and have that in your body just like dead? I don't know. Yeah. What you want to do is you want to change your environment. You want to make it so that there's nowhere else for them to run, and they'll escape through means like of your like pus, like of like say like pimples and stuff like that, through saliva, but mainly through the urine and the poo. The if you change your diet to, if you just ate parsley and apples literally for the next 6 months, you ate parsley and apples, the seed and all, you would be starving out the acid supply in your body. You would be so clean in there that those tapeworms would be like, you know what? I don't think this guy, it's not working. I can't control this guy anymore. I got to get out of here or else I'm not going to get any food. These tapeworms, remember, they live off of the anaerobics, right? They live off the carbon dioxides and the gases and the putrefying things. That's what they love. So if they can't find it, they'll leave on their own. That's the, I mean, you could take a cleanse that kills it, but the eggs are still intact. You know what I mean? You can take the cleanses and it kills it, but it gets lodged in another part of your colon, and now you have like a tapeworm corpuscle just rotting away in your colon, like beside the steak. So you want to change the environment so they can knowingly navigate out, all intact, all in one piece, out of your body at once.
Good
What's
answer, bro.
good, vegan warrior? Sorry, Quentin. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What's good, brother? What's good? I hear you talking that good stuff. I said, you know what? Let me come say hi.
Well, hello, man. We got some vegans uniting, and every day we do these streams. And every day you guys do your weekly wrap ups. More and more people on plant based.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's a good thing. I just wanted to chime in on that tapeworm thing that you were just talking about. You're 100% right. You change the environment, that will kill the tapeworm. See, the tapeworm is there because you're consuming something that is feeding the tapeworm. But once you stop consuming toxic foods that the tapeworm feeds off of, it'll come out in your bowels, and your immune system will push it out. You know, it'll be strong enough to push it out. A lot of times your immune system is so weak, it can't fight off foreign invaders. So it's all about strengthening your immune system and creating an environment to starve out the disease. And that's pretty much how it works. So a lot of people have not been taught that the foods that they eat create these environments for these organisms to live within you. Once you realize that, you can get rid of pretty much, you can get rid of cancer, you can change diabetes, you can do all that stuff. You can get rid of obesity. I don't know if you guys know my story, but I dropped 160 pounds, 160 pounds going vegan. So I've been a vegan now for 10 years, and it's the only thing that makes sense to me. I'll pause there.
Deep, bro. That's what I'm trying to get to, man. I swear that shit is an inspiration, man. That's why I've been missing you in these streams, Vegan Warrior. I've been wondering where you been for a minute, bro. Like when you first hopped back on, I'm like, where you been at?
Yeah, man, I'm still here. Went through a couple channel shutdowns, but I'm still around.
They don't want this plant based knowledge getting out there, man, because once we get off of the medical industry, they lose.
Oh, I got a question. What's your preferred method of juicing? Because I heard that the Gerson method was a real powerful way to extract the juices versus like burning them and doing all this other processing shit that the juicers do.
Right. Who's that question for?
Both of you actually, you both got some good rank on veganism.
Yeah. Well, I think it's you know how they say on the street is levels to this shit.
Yeah.
There's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? With a person that's transitioning and coming in, I've been a vegan for 10 years. So a person transitioning in, you come at this level, and then you go to another level. A lot of stuff that Masterpiece is talking about is a high level of veganism. And it's the most desirable place to be, but human nature needs to go through various levels to work their way to a raw vegan lifestyle. Right now, you want to get rid of the meat, dairy, and eggs. That's what it's about. And if you can do that, you're at level 1. And then you can start working your way up. Now, since there's a lot of vegans here, if you were going to juice, I would say you would try to juice as organically as possible. You know, literally squeezing the vegetable or the fruit where you can get the rawest natural material. You really don't want to use too much heat and change the structure of the fruit or the vegetable itself. You want to try to keep it intact and just extract the juices the best way possible. But if you're on level 2, you put that bitch in a blender and you do what you got to do. You know, it's an art to all of this. And just like with a chef, over time, you'll learn more and more about how to process your foods and get the most nutrients out of them, you know. But it just depends on what level you're on, in my opinion. Masterpiece, you got something better to add to that?
Yeah, that's it's very true. There's levels, right? And when I started with the magic bullet.
Yeah,
you know, right. You know, I got some berries, some Tropicana orange juice, and I just put it together. And now 11, 12 years later, from when I first made my first bullet juice in college till now, you have the money for whatever you're passionate about. And before I used to spend it on God knows what, but when I first bought my juicer, it was a $450 juicer, Omega, and like a vegan warrior said, it was a slow extractor. Now this is the reason why you want a slow extracting, like a pressing type of juice. When you put your produce down a juicer that goes,
Right.
it cuts at such a high rate, and it damages the fibers in the fruit cells, and it lets so much oxygen into your food that you have to drink it like right then and there. You can't save it for 3, 4 to 5 days. You got to drink it. That's why I invested in a slow auger press juicer. I'll share my screen. You guys can find this on any kind of like secondhand website. Not this. You want to go and you want to find it used, because you know, I personally am not one for supporting, like, you know, the corporations and them having 25,000 machines just sitting as overstock. And, you know, just go online and find somebody who tried it, didn't like it, or maybe they got it as a wedding present and never opened it, and boom, you're good. Now, what happens with the slow masticating juicer is that when you put it down, it's spinning at such a slow RPM that it's crushing it, kind of like your teeth would crush it if you were to chew it. And this doesn't allow the oxygen to get in it, and it allows the fruit structure, the juice structure, to stay intact. And that means that you can drink it 3, 4 days later, and it still tastes, you know, as good as you just made it. So for the juicing, I was like, for me to change my life, I needed to become obsessed with something. When I stopped cigarettes, I needed to replace it with something that was just as exciting and as addicting. And for me, that was juicing. And I would always get excited to get a kale and an apple and bring it home and just try a new recipe. So if the juicing is going to be something that you really want to make up most of your diet, then I would definitely recommend a slow juicer. I recommend Omega because they have like 10-year warranties. Any brands you like, vegan?
You're talking about the types of blenders?
The brands. Like I said, I like Omega because that brand, because they have 10-year, 11-year warranties, where a lot of other juices will have a 1-year warranty. Like Breville has like a 1 year to 2 year warranty. Omega's is 10 years, sometimes 12, 15 years sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of lazy. I'll juice in the blender. I'll juice anywhere I can. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I got a juicer. Shit, I can't remember last time I touched it. My wife uses it, but I'm a blender guy. You know, I'll throw something in the blender, chop it up. You know, I'll make the dressing in the blender, make everything in the damn blender. So again, guys, there's levels to this. So don't be afraid, you know, to experiment and you know, one thing I want you guys to understand when it comes to veganism, you don't like every type of food, right? Think about it. There's certain animal foods you don't like. There's going to be certain vegetables you don't like. There's going to be certain fruits you don't like. There's going to be certain nuts and seeds you don't like, and lentils you don't like. It's a trial and error. You got to find out what you actually like, and then add that into your repertoire of food that you're going to eat. And once you do that, the transition's a lot easier. Like Masterpiece was saying, it's a 1-for-1 swap. When I stopped eating cheeseburgers, I started eating something that was a healthy alternative to cheeseburgers. You know, when I gave up pizza, I came up with a healthy alternative to pizza. So you won't feel like you're missing out on anything if you are going for 1-for-1 swap. And because they got all this vegan processed food out here now, it's a lot easier, you know. It's a lot easier. I don't necessarily recommend a lot of it anymore. I used to. If you're gonna eat the vegan processed food, you should eat it as a transitioning thing so you can really grow into becoming a true vegan. But if you eat it too long, you may find yourself still gaining weight and stuff like that. The ideal scenario is to move towards a raw diet, and I'm still in that process now. 10 years later, I'm still not 100% raw, so I'm working my way there.
Hey, can I jump in with you guys real quick?
Sure.
I ain't been vegan for 10, but it's been 3 years now for me. And one thing you was right, it is levels to this shit. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people crack. Cause like me, when I first went, and I don't advise this for nobody, I tried to go on a strict diet. And I'm gonna be honest, it fucked me all up. Like I was losing weight drastically. My skin started breaking out. I having dry spots all up under my neck. And what it was the fact that I tried to go on that strict raw vegan diet like that. Um, it was like I guess it was like drastically killing the tapeworms, the organisms that's living inside of you. And you don't want to do that. You want to wean them down, and not over a long period of time, but just enough to the point where they will die out, but it doesn't affect your body. Um, when it came to juicing, I was just like y'all, like you, pretty much. I used a blender, NutriBullet. I had a food processor. I did eventually graduated and did get an Omega because I got tired of mixing it with the coconut water. I just wanted something I could just strictly get myself. And then I started, I really got into it and started researching and realized that, the way our body is biologically set up, it almost matches the plant makeup. So then I cut the juicing out. Whatever juice I wanted, I just started eating that fruit by itself.
Yeah.
Then I did start trying to process food after I visit Denver because Denver got a lot of vegan restaurants out there. I'm talking about good ones, and it
Mm.
started showing me another aspect of how they was making all these dishes, like the old dishes I used to eat when I was eating meat. And so I started buying the processed food, but I know other people have their own ideas about this, but I started noticing a lot of soy was up in it.
Yeah.
And I don't deal with soy. I know other people has another outlook on it, but me, I take it on the outlook that the person who invented it said it wasn't meant for consumption. So I
Yeah.
don't want to consume it. And I felt my body getting bloated too when I was eating a lot of that packaged food and mock
Mhm.
meat. So I started YouTubing and finding out, other alternatives to make the mock meat myself without adding all of those chemicals and stuff that I didn't want in my food.
Right.
You know, um, I would advise anybody that's thinking about going vegan, wean yourself off, find the things that you like you say, because there's a lot of things I don't like.
Hmm.
Like everybody say jackfruit, it has the same texture as like pulled pork, which it do, but
Yeah.
it you have to season the hell out of it.
You gotta know how to cook it.
Just yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I make it a lot, and you do have to season the fuck out of it to get that flavor up out of it. But
Right.
it's other alternatives out there, like cauliflower.
Yeah.
I make ground beef with that,
Yeah.
buffalo wings with that.
Hmm.
I make a lot of my own sauces. But the main thing, like how you were saying, is to get off the meat and the dairy. And if you can get off the dairy faster than the meat, that's even better.
Yeah.
Because that's what's a lot of the backup in your colon. Most, yeah, it's meat, but a lot of that is the dairy that you consume, the cheese and that milk. Not to mention the chemicals they use to pasteurize it. But
Right.
over time, when you start intaking that diet, you will feel the difference. It's like you got way more energy.
Yeah.
You more focused. You can see things way more clear than what you did because your body was so blocked up with that. But
Right.
it's definitely something to get into. Something that I never thought. you know, I will probably be getting into, you know, all the food that I done ate over time, you know, all the meat dishes, and as much as I love to eat, you know, like I easily went from 200 to a buck 60.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, yeah, I do feel a little bit uncomfortable at this weight, but it's my natural weight.
Right.
No saturated fat build up. You know, I breathe better. Skin is more clear.
Yep.
You know,
You
but
stop snoring.
yeah, well, I never was a snorer, so
Oh, okay.
that my acid reflux problem went away. That was a big thing to me because I had a big problem with that growing up all my life. But you know, anybody that decide to go into it, just realize that, like, you know, Vegan Warrior said, it's levels to it. So don't try to go in at it on level 2 and level 3, and level 1 is trust me, it's just enough, and it's a gradual step to get into level 2 and level 3, and then you will find your own way into it. Because I find myself disagreeing with a few vegans that I know out here on a regular basis. You
Yeah.
know, but I mean, it's just out of respect. We just mess with each other and stuff. But you know, you just got to find your footing into it, and that's gonna be the best way for a person to continue that way, because it is the right way, and you'll notice the health benefits from it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Totally agree with everything you said. Is one thing I wanted to highlight that you said, and I know Masterpiece is going to have a say so on this. With going raw, there's a detoxing. You're going to go through a detox, and with every detox, well, let's change the words, because people hear detox. There's a repair process going on within your body. All right. So when you cut out the cooked foods and you cut out the processed foods and you start eating natural whole foods, your body goes into repair mode. And the reason why is because it can now process the natural organic foods much easier. So now it has energy to go into a repair process. And during that repair process, you may have side effects on the outside of you, like he was talking about some of the side effects that you may go through when you're detoxing or your body is under repair. What happens is that only lasts for a certain period of time, and then this whole sense of bliss comes where you feel extremely healthy. You know, not only do you feel healthy, you look healthy, and you get this sense of clarity that's just off the charts. I went raw for about, I want to say a year, but it's probably about 9 or 10 months. And I got drawn back into eating cooked vegan foods because my wife's a vegan chef. So it's kind of like, you know, I hit this point of bliss eating raw, and then I just got sucked right back in because, you know, the wife cooks so well, you know, vegan meals. So you if you go raw, if you're toxic and you go raw and your body is repairing itself, it is expunging all of that toxicity that's in you out. And you may see it on your skin. You may see different things happening, but what it really is, it's a repair process going on. Can I say one other thing before you say something, Masterpiece? There's an attack on this channel going on right now. Someone's attacking this channel. That's one reason why I decided to come on. Look at the number of thumbs down. Right now, there's 202. When I first logged in, there were, I think the thumbs down was like 10 or 11. Now there's over 202 thumbs down on this broadcast. So we're pissing somebody off, and that means we're going in the right direction. Okay, I just wanted to make that statement.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I think we're pissing some people off. It's probably, you know, the meat cartels or whatever. Don't know who, don't care who, but thanks for pointing that out. You know, and for anybody that clicks on videos for their likes and whatever, you know, don't even worry about that. This happened the first stream and the second stream. I don't know what's going on, but like Vegan Warrior said, we're doing a good thing. And to add in, to what they were saying. Yeah, when your body's in that repair mode and you start to, it's kicking up all those toxins all over again to start cleaning it out. It's dumping it back into your bloodstream, and you're getting tired. And most people at that point say, "Oh, I just need to go back to the meat. I need to go back to what I was eating." And then because of that, your body goes back into protection mode. It says, "Okay, we're not ready to clean yet. We're not ready to detox like we thought we were. Bring everything back." Then your body stores it back again, and you feel better because those toxins are out of your bloodstream, and you're not trying to detox them anymore. They're back hidden away for stowaway, for safekeepings. So now you say, "Oh man, I feel better now that I ate that burger and that chicken wing. I guess the burger and the chicken wing is what I'm supposed to be eating." But like Vegan Warrior said, if you just make it past that hump, pure bliss is on the way. More energy than you know what to do with. You'll be up at 4 a.m. kind of like, okay, well, I know I should be sleeping, but I got stuff to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You will never feel as good once you get past that hump. You know, it's ridiculous how good you feel. And everyone talks about the physical, like losing weight and slimming down or feeling strong. Mentally, mentally, you will be more clear. The brain needs nourishment, right? So where does the brain receive its nourishment? From the foods that we consume. So if you're consuming a lot of toxicity, not only are you affecting your vital organs in your body, you're also affecting your brain. Now, I'm not saying if you're a meat, dairy, or egg eater that your brain is jacked up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you are a good thinker with meat, dairy, and eggs, you're going to be a better thinker when you go vegan. That's all I'm saying. You know, so I'm not saying vegans are smarter than other people. It's just that it's different levels to our intellect, right? So some people can function in a toxic environment really well, meaning their body. But when they clean up that toxicity, their intelligence or their clarity, that's probably a better word, their clarity will go through the roof.
Yeah, unlocking their true intelligence, like you're saying. Like it's almost like having, it's like you're in a race, and the car ahead of you drops the tar. Now your car gets stuck in the tar. That is your body signals. When your body's nerves are encased in mucus or the tar, that intelligence, that spark of whatever you want, intelligence, consciousness, it's delayed, it's slowed down to a point where it's not like you're getting jokes last. It's the point where when you're receiving those higher intuitions, sometimes they're delayed or ignored. And so, like Vegan Warrior says, once you detox or clean off that mucus and the starchiness and stuff from the meat, dairy, and eggs, that intelligence, that your consciousness is going to be able to travel faster through your body. You're going to be able to think a lot clearer, express the thought forms that come into your body clearer, because there won't be as much of like, traps of mucus traps to get through just for your thought to come out. You're going to be so clear headed and just, I felt when I went vegan, I felt this. I felt my connection to people and animals increase, and I felt my vocabulary kind of like expand of how I relate to animals. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just like they're pets, and it's like they're brethren. Like they are me and I am them. They deserve the same chance in life that we all do. And I mean, if you just put yourself in their position, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because when I first went vegan, I did it strictly to lose weight, and I had a near-death experience. I had blood clots in my legs, and I was 40 years old when I went vegan. So I was old as hell when I first went vegan. And a lot of you guys are in your 20s or early 30s, and the fact that you were able to recognize it at this young age, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. That means you can do nothing but get better. But once I went vegan, not only was there a shift in my health, there was a shift in my mind as well. I actually became more compassionate. You know, I mean, you guys think I'm rough now. You should have seen me when I was a meat eater. I am nothing near how I used to be when I was a meat eater. You know?
Hey, you took them words right out my mouth.
Yeah.
I felt more compassionate about things when once like my body was like fully cleansed. Like I don't know, it was like I was more aware, more conscious to the situation, and I had more compassion, even though my journey to it was for health reasons as well too, and my spirit was more better as well too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
your tolerance goes up too. You can tolerate stuff a little more. You're not as quick to fly off the handle. You're judging other people. I mean, a lot of stuff changes, man, because you got to remember it. A health change is not just for when we think of health, we think of our bodies. But you got to remember, our brain is in the body. It's an organ, and it needs nourishment. So if you make a healthy change to yourself, it's going to impact your thinking and your brain as well.
Yeah, and it's gonna open up those centers. Like, I mean, those the visceral fat, the plaque, the pus, the mucus is going to be peeled back and cleansed from these your organs. It's literally encasing your organs. I showed this with the visceral fat and everything like that. And just as soon as you make that environment from a murky pus-filled water to a nice pristine water, the messages of compassion are just going to be just flowing so easily. Like when you put a ripple in water, the ripples, they go out easily. But if you were to put flour in the water, you won't see it won't be as viscous. And so I noticed animals were nicer to me. Like I would go in and somebody would have a dog and they wouldn't be as barky to me and mean. And squirrels, they usually run away as soon as they see humans. Now I'm walking up closer to squirrels than I've ever gotten before, maybe because they don't smell the fact that I have flesh coming out of my pores. They don't think I want to eat them. Birds, I get closer to birds, everything. And I was watching a movie after I went vegan, and it was like about animals, and this animal died or whatever, and like I almost like shed a tear, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I know it's a movie, but I guess in general I just felt more empathetic towards everything and everyone.
You're right. You're totally right. It's a shifting. It really is. I mean, but think about it. When you eat meat, dairy, and eggs, you're consuming the bodies of animals that were slaughtered. You know, and when you consume that, could there be? I got to pose the question: could there be some type of degrading in your spirit when you make that consumption? And I'm an ethical vegan. I tell people all the time. I know there's people that are plant-based eaters and all that, but I'm probably more ethical than plant-based than anything. Over the years, I shifted into that. And what I mean by that is the golden rule. You know, you don't want to harm innocent, helpless animals. And if you do, you got to ask yourself why when you don't have to. You know, I mean, if you don't have to, let me put it this way. I believe there's two categories of beings. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Two categories of beings that should always be protected. One is the children, and two is animals. And the reason why I feel that way is because those are the only two classifications of beings in our world that are innocent and helpless. They're literally innocent and helpless. And by us being the shepherds of this world, if you want to see ourselves as that, I think it's our responsibility to protect the most innocent among us, which are the children and the animals. Um, that doesn't mean don't care about people, but it also means who's more innocent than a child and an animal? No one. But if you pay attention to the way our world goes in, we harm our children all the time, and we kill as many animals as we can get our hands on. The two most innocent among us, we treat the worst, it seems like, you know? And I think it's only because they're innocent and they're harmless, you know? Why is it that if man is really so tough and rough, why aren't we eating lion burgers? Why are we killing the most loving animal that we can get our hands on, like a cow or a sheep? Because they're docile, they don't fight back. We're not hunting the carnivore, the predator, we're hunting the prey. Why? Because they're innocent and they're harmless, you know? And it kind of tells you about the character of man. We don't want to put the work in to kill a ferocious animal like a bear or a lion or a tiger or something like that. We'll kill that animal that doesn't have the means to fight back. So again, there's levels to this shit. And when you start talking ethical arguments of veganism and stuff like that, it's on a whole new playing field. It's not just about what we put in our mouth. It's about your overall consumption of the world. You want to organically look at the world a particular way. And a lot of people are not ready for that. So that's why it's a level to it. My opinion. All this stuff is my opinion, by the way. I don't speak for all vegans. I'm just telling you where I am in my vegan journey after 10 years.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to like the synergy between animals and us. Like whenever I visit my friends, I don't have a pet, but they do, and the animals are way more friendly to me. And also for me, my journey was a bit weird. It was like a tap on my shoulder almost. I was going through this spiritual phase and self-realization phase, but basically not only does it give us compassion for animals and other people and stuff, it gives us also compassion for ourselves. And once you reach that level, that's when you reach like the actual realization and actual self-love. Because if you really love yourself, why would you do that to your body? And also relating to the whole dairy thing and how much it really does affect you. My little sister, she's 3. One time she puked up. Earlier she was drinking milk and she puked it up. And when she puked it up, I was thinking it was gonna be like liquid, but it was actually solid and chunky. And I was like, how in the world is the body supposed to digest that if that was just like in her gut right now? But yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
Yikes, yikes. Yeah, those chunks, because that curdling factor. If you drink tea and you put dairy milk in the tea and you leave it, you're gonna see it curdle up. And if you put like an almond milk or like coconut milk, you don't see that intense curdling. So what's happening is it's those when you drink that watered down, sugared down milk, that's the first to be absorbed into you, and then what you're left with is what you saw there, those chunks, and then that makes its way through the colon, and it never really gets its way out of the ridges, and it just stays there and turns from cheese to something so foul that, I mean, like when you open up cadavers of your usual person, that smell is like, ugh. It's out of this world, dead rotting bodies. So we should be a lot cleaner inside. And here I shared a screen with everybody, and I hope it's sharing on the YouTube page. Basically, I'm going to click on a link, okay? And when I click on the link, it's going to from the moment I click, it's going to tell us how many animals and of what kind have been killed. Okay, so remember, we kill over 100 billion land animals every year. So this is what it looks like when it goes by second. Ready? Here we go. Click on the link. Here's the animal counter. It's been 5 seconds and already over 10,000 chickens, 100 geese. It's been 10 seconds, 20 pigeons, 500 pigs, 15 seconds, 1,300 ducks, 40 rodents due to science, you know what I mean, and testing. 25 seconds, not even, and 4 horses are dead. 250 cattle. You see, so this is the staggering numbers. Wild fish caught. It's if in 35 seconds is over 1 million already. Wild fish caught. So this is happening day and night. And so your abstinence from meat and animal products like down sheets and goose line jackets and fur hoods, it really helps us out, guys. It really helps us to lighten the mood of this planet. There's so much death and destruction already as there is with wars and stuff, things that, you know, are so hard to avoid with politics and people's money. But the thing that you can completely control is what goes into your mouth. What kind of product is going into your mouth? Is there an animal behind it? You know, these are the questions, because these numbers, guys, I mean, whew, it's bad.
Damn,
You know,
I
you
didn't
might
know
want to.
that was wild fish caught like that. Wow.
Yeah, the wild fish is because those big farms, right, that they have in the middle of the oceans, and
Yeah.
they catch fish with octopus and squid and things they don't mean to catch. So it's like, you know, your quota is 10,000 fish, but you're accidentally catching 50,000 fish, and you know you're killing them all. You know, so it's pretty bad. Vegan, what is the best advice you would give someone your age now who eats meat that says, you know, my son keeps on telling me to go vegan and I just can't do it. I can't do it. What's your advice?
The best advice I can give someone in my generation or older is you've matured in every aspect of your life. You've matured in your music. You've matured in the way you dress compared to younger people. You also have to mature in your consumption. You can't eat at the age of 50 like you did when you were 18 years old. You can't eat foods like pizza and hot dogs and all these other things for 2 reasons. One, when we were younger, our metabolism worked out to the best of its ability the burning process or the expunging process of all that toxic food that we consumed when we were younger. And this also includes drinking, alcohol and partying and all that stuff we did when we were younger. And you matured out of that. Most older people have matured out of all the wild stuff they did when they were in their 20s. If you can mature on that level and your mind is maturing, why not your consumption? You have to eat foods that are going to create a healthy environment within you. And if you don't do that, you're going to have to go to the doctor and use their medications to mask the true symptoms within you. Meaning the medication does not heal you. The medication just masks the toxicity that exists within you. If you want to get that true toxicity out of you, you have to change the environment. That means your consumption must be mature. When you mature as a person, your consumption should mature as well. And that's the advice I always give people my age or older, or even a little younger than me, 40 or whatever the case is. I'm at 50 now. We cannot afford to eat like we did when we were children, or even teenagers, or even young adults. Their bodies are better equipped to deal with the toxicity than yours at the age of 50 and older. That's what I usually tell them.
That's good. I'm gonna tell my dad exactly that, like, because then it kind of puts him in a like, oh shit, he's saying I'm not mature yet. Like, Okay, I'll show him. Like, yeah, I'm mature. You know, I think it'll engage him if I kind of bring it to him like that. So thank you for that. That was good.
Yeah.
I had to say this. Backpack Zoe, he's my man. He's in the chat. He's my man for real.
Yes. Yeah.
He says animals kill though, and then he puts the sign like that. And yeah,
Absolutely. Animals kill, but if you animals also kill only what they need.
right.
They
We don't. We stockpile bodies.
We stockpile and we kill for fun. We kill for entertainment. We kill because I want a new leather jacket. We kill, we kill, we kill. So there's no other species on the face of the plane, like I said, that face of the plane that is more murderous than human beings.
Right. And also it's funny, and this is an attack to Backpack Zoe. Backpack Zoe, this is what you are gonna say to all your people at home, okay? When they say, yeah, but what about animals? They kill. What you say is, oh, so now you want to imitate the animals. So when I walked in, when I walked into a door, you didn't smell my ass. You know, when we were making love, when you were making your love to your wife, you weren't doing doggy style only, and that was it. You know, like you weren't biting fleas and picking fleas out of her hair. There's so many things that we could imitate animals with, but the meat eater, the person that's an addict, who's addicted to the meat and the blood, they will make up excuses like, well, they kill, why can't I? And the lion does it, but we're not them, and we don't want to be them. You wouldn't want to be a lion with the flies all over your face. You know what I mean?
And the animals we eat don't eat other animals. So they the innocent ones, like babies.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. It's like, yeah, we're not even eating the things that eat these animals. We're getting up alongside of them and saying, yeah.
Hey, Master P, I take it even further than that. Go and kill all the animals you can, but don't use no weapons. Take off all your clothes, get barefooted, just like an animal. Go out in the woods and try to go kill something.
A lion or a wolf.
If you can do it, go ahead and eat as many animals as you want. The only reason there are so many, and I don't even call them carnivores or omnivores. I call them processivores. The reason there's so many processivores is because someone is bringing it to you and putting it in a supermarket so you can buy it, or bringing it to you and putting it on a plate. The moment you have to go out and actually kill to survive, there's going to be a lot of fucking vegans. There's going to be a lot of them. And the reason why, it is hard to hunt and kill in the wild. The average person right now, if I got 100 people and I gave them a gun and I said, go out in the woods and hunt, they will come back with nothing night after night after night after night. There's seasoned hunters that can't catch deer with the camouflage up in a tree, and they doing all that. They'll go the whole hunting season and won't kill one damn thing. That's how difficult it is to hunt. So if you think you're a natural hunter, strip down, go with just what God gave you, your body, and go out in the woods and try and kill something. Let me see how that goes for you.
For real, because my nails bend back when like someone pulls like a sweater out of my hand too fast. I'm like, damn, you know, like imagine trying to hold on to like a leather hide. Like your nails would be ripping right off. And imagine biting into like a the rib or something. You don't have a snout. You can't like physically get in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't gonna happen.
And so
there's nothing naturally organic about us out in the wild hunting and eating animals. It's a learned skill. You have to learn how to do that stuff. You have to learn how to live off the land. You have to learn how to hunt. It's not a natural instinct. If you take a baby, it does not know how to hunt. You know what I mean? So someone has to teach that baby how to hunt in the wild. And our generation, our civilization, we don't know how to do it. We rely on other people to do it.
Damn right. Self-explanatory says, Masterpiece, does being a vegan help with manifestation? Absolutely it does, because we were just talking about consciousness, your own personal intelligence, clearing up so that you can receive it faster and more readily at will. And now if we take that a step further to manifestation, well, when you're manifesting, you're using thought power, right? And if that thought power is not bombarded and encased in mucus and sticky pus and stuff like that, then what's going to happen is it's going to be more instantaneous. You're going to be receiving thought forms. You're going to be receiving negativity, obstacles for you to get over. Whenever you're manifesting, the first thing that is going to hit you is the opposing field, because that's what you're putting out. Now you're left with the opposition until what you're asking for aligns and comes to you. So that whole process is sped up when you are more aerodynamic, when you are minimized, when you don't have the cholesterol and the fat and the visceral fat making your body more diluted. Okay, it's less of a concentrated human. You are a light body, okay, and you have specific amount of organs and skin and bones and hair. Anything more than that is added luggage, it's added baggage for everything, for every one of your body's functions, for your heart to pump, for the blood to get from one part of the other, for the liver to cleanse out impurities. So the cleaner you are, the more pure you are, the faster everything happens, the more efficient everything happens. Vegan warrior, I know that you can attest to this. When you go vegan, how quick are your bathroom visits?
Oh, sorry about that. I walked away, but I heard the question. It, it immediately. It's kind of like if you're not used to going, let's say once a day. When you go vegan, you'll go anywhere up to 2-3 times a day. You know, and over time it slows down. Say again?
And you don't need a book anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's straight out. You know what I mean? It's not a struggle. It's none of that. And since we're being nasty, we can keep going further. Your sex game go through the roof. I mean, the reason why people use the blue pill is because arteries are starting to clog up. See, a lot of people don't know Viagra and all that stuff was initially created to fight cholesterol, and cholesterol builds up in your bloodstream. And they found out not only did it clear up cholesterol, it also cleared up the channels of the blood flow to the organ. And that's when it became the famous sex drug. So your sex game goes through the roof. And if you don't know that, just ask a lady that's dating a vegan.
Yeah, ask a lady who's dating a vegan that used to eat meat. Yeah, it's true, man. Your stamina and endurance goes up just like every field animal that's vegan. Your sweat smells better. But what, like we were saying with the bathroom, how every function happens. You know, it's so funny how I used to like have reading material in the bathroom, and now it's like I feel it, it's ready to go, and I sit down and boom, it's there. So that ease, Vegan Warrior said that it's just less of an effort. It's just there's no struggle. When you're sitting down and you're putting that pressure on and you're really pushing, you're at risk of blowing a lot of things and getting hemorrhoids in it as well. But if you sit down and you're just ready to go, and the plant fibers like these, the whole fibers, because you can't get fiber in meat and dairy and eggs, this is what's going to be acting as a broom to sweep out your colon floor. And when you sit down and you're ready to go, trust me, it comes quick. So yes, manifesting is definitely, I've noticed because I started off the whole manifestation work just before I got into college, and I went vegan in college, and I noticed that like just meditating, laying and relaxing, going to the bathroom, everything was just even like even something as arbitrary as having people that I don't know, having people that I just met, taking more of a liking to me. Now, I didn't really care either way if people did or not, but I personally felt like I was, I don't know, more approachable, maybe more accepted in more circles, more trustworthy, I guess, or something. I found more people just being drawn to me. I guess it's my my magnetic self just I'm electric now. You eat the plant-based and foods, and you don't have those underlying thoughts of the fear and the carnage and the mutilation and the antibiotics and all that flowing through your system. And it
Right.
just, I don't know.
Right. And your level of confidence goes through the roof too. That's why a lot of people don't like vegans, because once they get on a healthy, they embrace this healthy lifestyle, they will speak out more. They will tell you what they're thinking. I mean, this is just my experience being in the vegan community for the last 10 years. They don't hold back, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying vegans are perfect, but the one thing they're not short of is confidence, you know, because they're confident in their lifestyle and they're willing to share it. And there's even some that's willing to put you in a headlock and try to force you into it. You know, I'm not one of them, but at the same time, I understand where all those motivations come from. Because maybe my first 3-4 years, I was a vegan activist. And you know how I go around debating flat earth? I was that same type of dude debating veganism with people that wanted to say that meat eating was natural and healthier and stuff like that. I was on a ton of panels. I even did some live debates at universities, stuff like that. So you become more confident once you actually walk the walk of veganism. You have to walk the walk. A lot of people talk it, you know, but when you actually benefit from the lifestyle, your confidence goes through the roof. Like, honestly, I feel like, well, maybe not now. Now I'm noticing a shift. At one point, doctors were against vegans. You know, they would say all types of derogatory things if you told them you were vegan. Now they're not doing that no more. They're really not, or they cut back dramatically. And a lot of that has to do with 2012. The WHO, the World Health Organization, came out basically saying that processed meat is a carcinogen. And when they put that out, it started a major shift. Masterpiece, you may remember this. It started a major shift in how people looked at processed foods, especially processed meats. And I think that's when we had this whole ocean of people coming into the vegan movement. A lot of it had to do with the World Health Organization, which, you know, you can take that with a grain of salt. But all they did was say something that vegans already knew.
Yeah.
So there was a big shift that occurred right around 2011, 2012.
Yep. And that right around that time, people were just getting right off of the deli meats. The deli industry just went
Right.
because of that.
Right.
Self-explanatory. Says, thank you, brother Masterpiece. No problem. Nobody to you. Thank you very much for the donation, family. I appreciate that. Prove Icewall is hilarious. He's just so funny. Sends me a $2 super chat. And he says, my heroes don't fuck with me until I give them money. Sad face, sad face, sad face. And then he says, with another $2 donation, you and Bro Sanchez are my heroes. Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. MG42 Pillbox. My email is in the chat right now. It's masterpiece9@gmail.com. pt.1 and you can message me with whatever you want and I will get back to you within the week. I try to at least. And then someone here says someone said, let me see, I lost it. Let's see. My nails used to be weak like that when I used to bite them, but they got harder over time when you don't bite them. And that made me remember one of the biggest things that I've noticed on my body as soon as I went vegan is my hair started growing very fast and my nails were uncontrollably fast and a lot harder. I rip my nails. Like I grab them and I make a little dent and I rip them off. It's just a little habit of mine. I don't know, but I can't do that as easily anymore. Like I gotta like make a little like bite indent first and then rip it because they're just so much harder now. Um, it's like I said, you know, if you have like a pie and you take out a slice of the pie and you add in some filler, or you have a bottle, you know, of your parents' alcohol and you drink the vodka and you fill it up with water, you're diluting it, right? And so when I think about my hair and my nails, and when I used to eat meat and dairy, I'm thinking about how much filler there is, how much nonsense there is. But now that I've tightened up my diet to just plants, the only thing that's coming out that's growing is, you know, these hard calciums and phosphoruses and really intact carotenoids that I've been eating with the plant-based diets. It's making the hair and nails just go crazy hard. I know you guys can attest to that on the panel too.
Yep. And also with the whole manifestation thing, like without plant-based diet, I don't think I'd be where I am at, because beforehand I was Christian, and the main thing I used to pray for was wisdom, like full on wisdom. That's all I lived for. That's all I wanted to manifest when I was 13 was wisdom. I used to pray for that, and years came by, and I think it was when I was 15 I stopped eating meat. It was during summer, and I don't know, like something in my body just, I think, well, for me, I personally, I think it was a message from the ether was telling me, don't eat that, don't eat that. My dad just barbecued that day, I think, and something in my body was just told me not to eat that. And my family, they used to know me for like eating meat during barbecues and all that, but I gradually gravitated from not eating beef and chicken, and then I wasn't really even trying to be plant-based, but then I stopped, like I was still eating fish, and then I stopped eating fish, and then I was like, oh, okay, and then I became vegan, and I was like, wow. But yeah, it's so natural and it's so smooth, and it's just helped me so much. And also with the whole hair and nail things, I have 4C hair. I don't know if guys care about their hair type, but I have 4C hair type, which is known to be the most coiliest and the most curliest hair type. And a lot of people struggle with this type of hair type if they have it. That's why a lot of women rather wear wigs and weaves. And also it's a part of self-hatred and all that. But ever since, like, I've just been living very minimalistic. I don't really use that much products for my hair and my face, and my routine has just changed with my whole hair care, and it's very natural. So everything's just become natural, honestly.
There you go.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
Yeah, I know what hair type you're talking about. It's because I had to take a little course when I worked at this store called Lush way back in the day, and I always found it funny how the hair comes out in that golden ratio, the golden spiral. Got lots of sebum there to help lubricate it. Okay, Kevin Michael says chickpeas, lentils, and hemp seeds. Oh my, yeah. With the chickpeas and the lentils, I like to buy them raw, so they're very hard, and then I like to soak them before I cook them. The soaking kind of helps to like drop some of the enzyme inhibitors, and it makes it able for your body to actually break it all down, so you don't poop out like whole chickpeas, and you know what I mean. It can actually break it down.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. That's some good stuff. Masterpiece, can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm about to get out of here. I just want to leave this one last thing with everybody. Something that kind of motivated me early on once I discovered this information I'm about to share. This is going out to all the ladies and men who really love their women, right? I want you to imagine a woman being artificially inseminated against her will or not at her request. She's pregnant for 9 months. Her water breaks. She gives birth. If the baby is a girl, it's preserved. If the baby's a boy, it's slaughtered. And the milk that's in the woman's breast to feed that baby is hooked up to a machine and sucked out until she's dry. And once she's dry, they artificially inseminate her again, and that whole process occurs. And as the female baby that was preserved gets older, they do the same process to her. She has the same fate as her mother. And they do this over and over and over and over again. This is the life of a cow. So every time you eat a pizza, ice cream, put milk on your cereal, you eat any type of pastry, anything that has dairy in it, you need to understand that that is animal breast milk designed for offspring. And it usually doesn't get to the offspring. If it's a male, if you've ever eaten veal parmesan, that's baby calf, baby male calf. So the male is slaughtered, chopped up, and made into meat, while the females go through a life of being a dairy cow. Now, once the mother is spent and she can't have any more children, she is then slaughtered, and that's what you eat in McDonald's as cheeseburgers. That's where your dairy milk comes from. It comes from artificial pregnancies, and the cow carries its young the same amount of time that a woman carries her young for 9 months. The water breaks, she gives birth, the calf is taken away, her tits are hooked up to machines, and all the milk that was developed for the calf goes to you. I just want people to visualize this. And if you think I'm exaggerating in any way, all this stuff, you can do research and you can see videos of the whole process from the point of where they stick an entire man's arm in the vagina of a heifer or a female cow to the snatching away of the baby calf after it's born to draining her tits for all her pregnancy milk. I want you guys to take a look at that. It's a natural process. It happens on all factory farms all over the world. And this is where your milk comes from. I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you for sharing that. And I know that you had to get out of here. So I really appreciate you sharing that because people, if anything, he under exaggerated what happens. You know, he if anything, there was no exaggeration. If anything, it was an under exaggeration. He didn't describe the screams and imitate the screams and the knocking and the bucking of the babies, and it's horrific, and it's something that you don't want to participate in, but they don't show you, so you don't know that you're participating in it with your dollar. So this is Oh, somebody sent a super chat, and I have to. Oh, well, first of all, Vegan Warrior, thank you very much for sharing that, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. It's just that we got to remind our folks where this stuff comes from. They do a great job in masking the horrors of how they put the food on our plates. It's our jobs as vegans to let people know where they actually get this stuff from. So I appreciate all your hard work. Thanks. It was a great bill.
Thanks, Vegan Warrior. Have a great one, man. Salute to you. Uh, Give it up for Vegan Warrior, y'all, because he comes through and he drops his knowledge and his expertise about how to switch over. And he says he likes the slow approach. And just as I said, that slow approach is the approach that's going to make it permanent for you. Thank you so much for the super chat. By Nobody to You, another $1. I appreciate that. Bro Sanchez, thanks for donating that, my brother. I really appreciate that. Good show. I've been kicking it with the fam while listening in. Brother Sanchez, if you're there, are you going to go live tonight? Because if so, I can direct everybody here to your panel and we can build like crazy tonight. I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna go live and do the. I don't know if Quentin still wanted to do the review or whatever, but if I was
Definitely down, bro. It's all good.
okay, well then, yeah, I will probably be live. Well, I'm gonna be live on Bro Sanchez Raw at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock Pacific time tonight.
Cool. All right, everybody, look out for that, and I'm gonna be there as well, listening in and be all up in the chat. Now, there's some questions that I didn't get to, and just at the end here, and that's cool because I will save them and get them ready for the next chat. So let me just copy and save that. And so, anyways, this has been a special edition of. This has been a special edition of Green Streams, the Q&A edition. And once again, I like to do these in between the series. That way, we can all kind of stay up to date and learn together. I don't want people being left behind and kind of being like, well, it didn't make sense. It didn't really flow. So I did 4 episodes. We stopped and braked for the live Q&A. We're going to come back for another 3 or 4 more episodes that are keeping in stream. It's going to be about diet and detoxing. And then we're going to get back to the Q&A. So thanks, everybody. If you want to close out, Rue, Quentin, and Bro Sanchez, and then I'll say my little thing after you guys close out.
Yeah, this is an excellent stream. And also one other thing I want to mention with the whole mind clearing and detox of the body, and also to tie it in with the 3 minds we were talking about the other time. Once I did become plant-based and I would do my meditations and sun gazing and moon gazing, etc., I would get these type, like, kind of like downloads of information, and like these symbols would flash in my mind, and then I would do research, and then they would reappear again, and then I would watch Bro Sanchez or Masterpiece, and then they would reappear again. Then the whole information just like resonated with me to a whole, like on a whole nother level. So yeah, and also another thing to tie it back with the whole thing I was talking about, me praying for wisdom back then. How I know this is truly true and absolutely natural. It's nothing that like I expected. Before I used to think like truth is beautiful and like subtle and all that, but it's out of this world. It's nothing that I ever expected it to be, and yeah, it's just played such a huge part in my life.
Yeah, I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat room, especially the little sister Rula. This information is important, what the brother Masterpiece dropping over here, because you know what I'm saying, doing what we doing, we gotta keep ourselves in shape for this fight, man. Shout out the vegan warrior. And shout out to whoever the troll is paying for the thumbs down. We want to give you a round of applause, man. Shout out to you, a big shout out to you. You know, putting thumbs down on a health stream. That's amazing. We give a shout out to you. So Masterpiece, just stay consistent with this. As you can see, is not taking it long to grow at all. I've seen people been on YouTube for years with the riffraff, and they've been going live for years and they can barely keep 30 people in there. And I'm watching this thing grow every show because this is the stuff that the people want. So don't get discouraged. Keep it going, my brother. And I'm always be here supporting. And I'm out, my brothers.
Respect.
It's 10 o'clock.
Definitely masterpiece, bro. Just, you know, like I said, been inspired from you with the vegan stuff ever since you've been on all the panels that I done been on since, you know, we both met through Bro Sanchez. So, like I said, bro, keep doing the green streams. I'm gonna keep watching them, and you definitely helping me get through my journey of becoming a vegan. Because when I say that's my end goal, because I know all of the stuff and information or whatever, all of that information and stuff won't, you know, be useful that I'm learning about flat earth and all of that if I don't go vegan. So, you know, all my ancient esoteric knowledge, if I don't do the vegan thing, it's purposeless. So that's why I know how important it is, and I'm working my best to like kind of shake the meat. So we'll see how this go.
Man, I appreciate that. Yo, thank you so much, Quentin and Rula. Thank you very, very much for saying that. And I think a lot of women, especially, connected to what you were saying. I think women have more feeling faculties and heart centers. You know what I mean? They really get this veganism stuff, especially when they watch a film like Earthlings, you know, or Dominion or Land of Hope and Glory. Those are 3 documentaries I hope you guys watch just to help wake you guys up to what we're actually doing with animals. It's not as simple as just cutting them and putting them on a plate. Terry Seabrooks, thank you for that donation. He says, thanks, fam. No, thank you. I don't think you guys understand that I wouldn't do this if I didn't have an audience. You see, it's not cool to talk about the veganism and the diet where I'm from. So I had to keep it in. And so if you guys weren't here to accept these gifts, I wouldn't be here to give them. So you guys are just as important as me here giving them. B-Boy Art, $4.99. Thank you so much for the great stream. He says at Masterpiece, thanks, strength, and fire. Yo, much love to you. Much love to everybody. People are saying that it's very helpful and informative. And that is the mission, people. We have to get ourselves and our family away from the Western medicine because let's face it, we get sick, they go to the doctor, they give us a pill, and then next 2 months later, it's somewhere else. So enough of that. Let's nip it in the bud. We're going to do this together, this transformation, this journey from eating meat, dairy, and eggs to just plants and vegetables, guys. It's going to be amazing. And what I would like you guys to do is in the comments of this video, if you are in a transformation right now, share your journey where you are right now, even if you're failing, even if you're being set back, or even if you just want to share it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check that out. And next green stream Q&A, I'll share those stories. So once again, thanks for everybody, and thanks for the person that disliked the videos. What it says is that it's been watched by a lot of people, regardless. So I always welcome that. So peace, power, and protection, and remember, y'all, eat to live. I'm gonna let this go out with a little bit of music while you guys can vibe out, and I'll catch you guys in the chat. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace. We got a donation from Majid Tarantino. Thank you. Salute Masterpiece, Vegan Warrior, and Bro Sanchez right at the end. Thanks so much, brother. Y'all be safe out there.